Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-host, Andrew Cooper, and somewhere is John Luke Garofalo. What's up, Coop?
Yeah, we're missing the other guy with JJ Galapagos or whatever his name is there. Where's
JJ
he?
Galapagos, yeah.
Where's he at? He's coming on?
FSPA Writer of the Year.
JJ Galapagos, old Jimmy Galapagos.
He'll be here, I'm sure. He's probably just taking his Komodo dragon for a walk early in the morning. Classic. We got some people in the what's up, Coop?
Dude, I actually just saw a video the other day. Once you start talking about something, it starts appearing everywhere. I forget there's a saying about that, but I just saw a video of a Komodo dragon eating a deer whole the other day. I did not realize I knew they were big. I didn't realize they were that big.
They could just eat a deer.
Those things are gross, dude.
Every time I see them at they had them at the Atlanta Zoo, Komodo dragons. So growing up, that is always where I would spend so much of my time, just at the Komodo dragon exhibit. Like, what the hell? How does a lizard this big exist?
Yeah, just watching those things be nasty. So yeah. Jails, if he's taming one of those right now, then he might be even later than we expected.
We got Scott Fish in the chat saying Simon in the coop. Also first. He said still on cruise time, apparently. Well, hope you enjoyed your cruise, Scott. And Mr. Scamper says, I'm here before JJ Galapagos.
Yeah, Scott looked like he was having a blast out there, you know. I want to know, Scott, were you able to scope out some new backpacks, add them to your ever ongoing research? I want to hear about some of these brands here. We had a little discussion on my bag. Came to the conclusion that it's a nice bag, but maybe a little overpriced. So not the number one overall ideal bag, but still a good bag.
Still a good bag. We got Tommy in the chat saying, man, oh man, these Cowboy fans are whack, talking about getting rid of Dak. He's a solid QB, but cannot take them far. Maybe they want a slightly used car. Maybe they should have stuck with the rush. Americans team, it is time to just hush. And we got Matt in here saying the joys of parenting. My son was so excited for this show. He got up a whole hour early.
Good morning. Let's go, dude. An hour early. So 8 o'clock, that's not a bad wake up time, right? Or where you are, Simon.
Whole hour.
It's like 4.
An hour before the show, that would be 5, which is when I wake up. So me and your son, we were up at the same time. He was up at 6. We started what, 7?
Yeah. Yep.
It's bright and early. Nice and early, Matt.
Yeah. I'm a little under the weather, man. I got a little bit of a cold, and I swear it's because of this diet my wife has me on. Like,
which is
just eating healthy, no drinking. It's like you take all the fun out of a man's life. Not to mention, like, I haven't been consuming enough alcohol to kill these germs. I think that really is what it is.
100%. That's got to be what it is.
That's how that works.
I said, what diet is making you sick? And you said, I don't know. It's just like eating healthy, man. I expected you to say like, oh, I'm on the keto diet, or oh, like, because that can make you feel pretty down. Know what I mean? Like if you're used to having all these carbs and you cut them all out at once, you can feel sluggish, man.
No, it's just not enough Bud Lights to kill the germs, and it's not enough happiness. I think that's part of it, dude. Not enough like steak and bread products and stuff. So, I'll have to talk to her about it. Maybe we'll have to reassess because clearly, I'm not doing well. Got a sore throat.
Mr. Scamper said 6 eggs a day and no whiskey will wreck you. Are you on the 6 eggs a day and no whiskey diet?
Pretty much, dude. It's getting pretty expensive. These days with the cost of eggs, dude, I'd be better off just drinking like Pappy Van Winkle and no eggs.
Pappy Van Winkle?
Yeah.
What is Pappy Van Winkle? You just casually dropped that like that was a thing everyone knows.
Everyone knows a Pappy Van Winkle. Pappy Van Winkle is like the go-to expensive bourbon to name. There's like Pappy Van Winkle 10-year, 12-year, 15-year, 20-year, and 23-year. And like the 23-year Pappy Van Winkle, like one bottle of that costs like 20 G's. Even some of the other ones, like the 15-year one goes for a couple thousand. That's like the quintessential expensive like bourbon that no one can get.
Turns out I'm the idiot. And everyone else knows exactly what Pappy Van Winkle is.
Tommy
Scott Fish in the chat saying, "Are you being serious, Simon?" Tommy going, "Pappy is awesome, high end."
Yeah, you don't know. Here's the thing, Simon. You don't need to even know anything about bourbon as long as you know a name or two to drop. Pappy Van Winkle is like that's like saying Rolex. If you don't know anything about watches, just drop a Pappy in there. You know?
Pappy Van Winkle.
You know all about Pappy Van Winkle, Jo?
Pappy Van Winkle.
There he
is.
Yeah,
my grandpappy Van Winkle was a great man.
My grandpappy Van Winkle.
You know, from the Van Winkle side of my family. I am Dutch. The Van Winkles hail from the Netherlands.
Yes, that is a very Netherlands-like name.
They have a rich tradition of flipping cheeses and repairing bicycles, the Van Winkles. And Pappy Van Winkle actually invented the bicycle. And that's why the bourbon's named after.
The whole bicycle.
No, sorry, I oversold him. He invented the handlebars of the bicycle.
Kind of the most important part, though.
It's pretty important part.
If people were unable to steer before that, people were just riding bikes wherever they went.
Which just so happened to be like 3 feet in front of them.
Mr. Scammer said the kids call it V-dubs, probably. Pappy Van Winkle, V-dubs.
No question, dude. Yeah, all those kids that are drinking Pappy Van Winkle.
We got Maria in the chat. What's up, Maria? Good morning. And Mr. Scampers said Pappy Van Winkle is the JJ Galapagos of bourbon.
The best.
JJ Galapagos.
Yeah. So did you and your grandpappy Van Winkle tame that Komodo dragon this morning, JL? Were you able to successfully get it done?
We were able to successfully done. He gave trouble, but at the end, grandpappy got the top side, and we took that Komodo dragon out.
Yeah. So when you guys went to
it's nice. Yeah.
When you guys went to wrestle him, what did he look like?
He looked like that.
I will never grow tired. I will never grow tired of that.
For some reason, I can't see you on my screen, JL, so I just heard with no visual.
Did it sound like a Komodo dragon?
Pretty good Komodo dragon, I must say.
People in the chat, could you see the Komodo dragon or could you just hear it? Because if you could just hear it, that's even better. I want to make that like my ringtone. I want to make that like the sound that my phone makes when somebody texts me.
That's disgusting.
Very good.
That's so gross. Yeah, looks like everyone could see you. I see you over on the YouTube, JL.
Rhea said I could see the beauty.
It is that time of morning, guys. I hope you brought something to eat because we brought everything else. We got the news. We got the stories. You just got to bring your own breakfast. John Luke, you're back home in your natural environment. Did you bring any breakfast this morning?
Soup cup.
You brought soup?
You have soup?
Juice cup.
Soup at 7 a.m.?
Soup cup. Yeah, gazpacho.
Are there any breakfast soups?
Wait a minute.
I've never had gazpacho. That's the cold one, right? That's the one that you were supposed to eat cold.
For a second, I thought that was the German secret police.
That's the Gestapo.
I thought I mixed them up.
I
had a nice bowl of Gestapo this morning.
Can you imagine if that soup was named after the secret German police, like just casually?
I had a nice bowl of brown shirts this morning. Are there any breakfast soups besides cereal?
I don't think so. I don't think cereal counts.
I think it's as soupy as of a substance as you can get, really.
But milk isn't broth.
I see the point. I see the line you're taking. I just don't know that it's going to hold up in court.
Yeah, that's true. I would plead my case, though, but I would also plead insanity for not ever having it, for ever eating it.
Ever having it.
Well, guys, I wanted to kick us off.
This morning?
I have breakfast, but I ate it already. But I had a English muffin with some cantaloupe and pineapple, and
Very
Wow.
and apple juice and a coffee. I'm kind of
Wow,
like
you got
the
the
way
treatment.
the way to defeat diets is to like instead of
Defeat
just
it.
the way to battle diets, right? Especially I'm sick right now, so I need to battle harder. Is that you take foods that are healthy and just eat way too much of them, and then that way it's no longer really like a diet. You're just eating a ton of food, but it's
Just a
but it's
lot of
healthy.
pineapple.
Just like a big salad, yeah, like a ton of pineapple. Dude, I've also found that like everything. I think we might have talked about this exact thing the other day, but everything I used to eat when I was a kid, like that. So when I was a kid, it was like candy was bad and soda was bad, and like a peanut butter jelly and a thing of juice was good. But now that I'm an adult, people are like, oh, well, juice has too much sugar, and like peanut butter jelly is like peanut butter has a lot of calories, and you're eating bread. It's like the goalpost. When did the goalpost move to the point where nothing is good for you? Right?
That's
Like,
no, Coop. It's diets. I am anti-diet and pro just eat better. Like I know that sounds like a small difference, but whenever you think of it as a diet, you think of it as restrictive. You're immediately setting yourself up for failure. Don't like there shouldn't be any restrictive eating. It's not a healthy way to look at food. You just need to come up with new habits, new styles of eating. You can have French fries, maybe just have fewer French fries. You know what I mean? It's all good.
or a different way of labeling them. Like yesterday, I had a salad, right? It was a lettuce, tomato salad with bacon in it, and it came in a sub roll. And the menu called it had a fancy name for it. It was like a BLT or something like that. So, but
Right.
it was one of the better salads I've had.
The
During
croutons were huge.
it was So yeah, it was 2 huge croutons on each side. That's
Croutons. Croutons.
2 each.
It's a new
croutons.
show about animated croutons that are all friends, the Croutons.
The croutons, dude.
The
Everyone-
croutons.
It's us, the Croutons.
It's me, lettucey.
Crunch,
It's
crunch.
little crumbly.
It's us, lettucey and tomato. All our friends really only like bacon, but they still eat us because they have to.
I'm
Scott's-
classic Caesar flavored.
I'm burnt.
Boom, 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 boom.
Scott
What are we
Fishing,
talking
you're
about?
saying I weigh 6 pounds less than before I went on vacation. Did I vacation wrong?
Yeah, completely, dude. What the heck? You're supposed to weigh minimum 6 pounds more after getting back from vacation.
Not
must have-
sure you. I don't know you did it wrong, but I have never come back weighing less after vacation.
But it is Disney, dude. And Disney is like you can cover some ground at Disney, right?
That is true.
I feel like it's all those. Yeah, maybe he weighed himself wearing all the clothes. And he left. He weighed himself coming back without all the clothes. Maybe he just climbs on top of like check bag weigh machine thing.
And that's how
He's
you
like,
weigh.
"Ooh, 6 pounds later.
That's the only time you weigh yourself. Yeah.
Let's get off of that.
He had to
I
pay extra to put himself in the cargo bin on the way there, but on the way back, he didn't have to pay extra to put himself in the cargo bin.
I had to go on a diet because I had like my honeymoon and then it went right into Thanksgiving and Christmas. And for some reason I scheduled my doctor's appointment for December 30th. Like the Friday. Yeah. I went in there and she was like, "You are a piece of garbage." She was like, "How are you alive?"
She had some New Year's resolutions for you.
Oh yeah, dude. Like she like called me on Friday, and I knew I was gonna like go out for. I was gonna do New Year's, and then I had tickets to the Patriots on that Sunday, so I just like ignored the calls on Friday, and then on Monday she was like, "How are you alive, dude? Like you, you need to go on a diet immediately." So,
To change things immediately.
yeah, you should be in jail. She looked at my blood test. She's like, "You should be in jail." But after, I actually she didn't have me come back in for a checkup after a couple weeks, and I feel she said I did a lot better the second time around. I failed the test the first time, but second time around did better. So we're on the up and up.
Hey,
but the lack
That's
of
what earned
like
me
I
a
said,
college degree. That same strategy.
failed
Failed the
the
first time, get it
beg-
the second time.
beg to redo it. Be like, sorry, I was a huge piece of shit last time, but this time we're gonna get it right.
We
Last
gonna
time the
get
sun
it.
was in my eyes. This time I'm good.
The sun was in my eyes. That's why the cholesterol was so high.
That's why I started wearing sunglasses to all of my exams.
Yeah.
Guys, I wanted to give an update on a situation we talked about yesterday. One Mr. Stephon Diggs had some more to say after he was heavily criticized for his reaction to the loss. He came out and he said, "Want me to be okay with our level of play when it's not up to the standard? Nah." Followed 1 minute later by another tweet that says, "It's easy to criticize my reaction more than the result." And there was a quote that came out from Isaiah McKenzie saying that he talked to Stephon Diggs last night, and Diggs was asking him how. Every year, it's the same thing. And McKenzie said it's the same questions everyone is asking, and he will ask. So Stephon Diggs, he's not backing down from being as upset as he was. He's saying, I'm right to be this upset.
Oh, Simon, you missed my favorite version of that quote. Of those quotes. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, hit it.
Stephon Diggs with it. So you mentioned the one where he said it's easy to criticize my reaction more than the result.
Yeah.
Eli Apple quote tweeted that on Twitter and said, Cancun on 3. He's such a jerk, dude. That's just brutal. With it, and he put Cancun on 3, and then he put the little hands making a heart emoji after.
What a jackass.
He is such a jackass, dude. What a legend, dude. And Eli, the best part is that Eli Apple sucks, dude. Like, he's not even good, bro. You know what I mean? Like, we one thing if this is like Jair Alexander, like Sauce Gardner, but it's Eli Apple. You know,
it almost makes me like him more that he sucks. Know what I mean? Because he knows. Know what I mean? Like, he's aware. He's aware that he gets beat all the time, but he's like, I'm still talking shit, man. Like, he's like, I'm not letting that stop me.
He's like, it's like J.R. Smith. He's like Patrick Everly. You know what I mean? It's just like standing behind
J.R. Smith. Oh, he would run his mouth. That dude, you would have thought he was the NBA Finals MVP.
Standing behind LeBron. We're the best.
Bring it.
Yeah. That's like, that's like the Jags and the Chiefs have been to the AFC 6 times in a row, and the Jags are like, that'll teach you.
Eli Apple's like, we shut down Stephon Diggs. It was me.
It was all us.
Jay said Eli Apple was a punk.
100%.
He knows. He was on the Giants, right? Eli Apple was drafted by the Giants. He got first
Giant for a long time.
You got your first shot at seeing Eli Apple there in New York.
Yeah, Dr. Microanalysis does not like Eli Apple. Not a big fan.
Yeah, I can imagine. Oh my goodness. But yeah,
Eli Apple's the one has like the very involved mother, right? Whose mom is like wildly involved in things.
Oh,
or am I misremembering that from the draft process?
Oh, I hope so. I love when there's like that really extra family member, like a wife or a brother or something that's just like over the top, or an uncle that wants to be your manager. That stuff that's always entertaining. That's always
Listen to this quote from his mom. Eli Apple's mom told son no Rolex at the draft because you're an unemployed dropout.
Damn, dude.
No Rolex at the draft.
That's actually funny and also true. That's like remember Melvin Gordon's mom? What she did?
No.
Dude, so as a rookie, she said, and I swear this was like a curse or, some sort of curse, or it might have even been impacting his like play. But she was like, I'm not wearing your jersey until you score a touchdown as a rookie. Then Danny Woodhead proceeded to score legit every single touchdown that season. Melvin Gordon, as a rookie, got 184 carries and 37 targets. So they looked his way over 200 times. He did not score a touchdown. And his mom said, we're not wearing a jersey until you score a touchdown. So she had to wait until his second year to get that jersey.
That's freaking awesome. That's incredible.
Then he came out and started the next season by scoring 6 touchdowns over the first 4 games.
Beautiful.
So
I remember drafting Melvin Gordon. I remember drafting Melvin Gordon his rookie year and then being like, I'm never drafting him again. And then immediately regretted it the next year. Here, I found the story about Eli Apple's mom that I was looking for. This is from 2017. And it was right after Landon Collins came out and referred to Eli Apple as a cancer in the locker room. He said in an interview on 98.7 ESPN New York that Eli Apple was a cancer for their team in New York. And Dane Blackson, Eli Apple's half-brother, came out and said, I feel like when people say Eli's like a cancer, I just think of mom when people say like words and use these types of adjectives. I feel like he never had a fair shot. I mean, a lot of this shit that you could be judging him on, there's really a master behind him pulling the strings. So as far as Eli being the cancer, I don't really see Eli being the cancer more than I see mom being the cancer and him not being able to distance himself.
Wow, jeez, their mom must be
Wow.
bonkers, bro, for him to come out and say that. That's
Right?
That's wild, dude. But that happens, man. I mean, like in sports, we see it across the board. Did you ever hear about the hockey player Jack Johnson with his parents?
No.
No.
So there's a hockey player, a defenseman, solid defenseman, like a guy that, you know, not necessarily like all-star caliber, but honestly a guy that would be in the league for a long time, right? His parents, like when he got drafted, went out and they took all these like predatory loans against his future earnings, dude, at like crazy high rates, to the point where he ended up going bankrupt while he was playing. So like in the midst of like this guy played, no joke, he's still in the league now. But he was definitely like 06. So this guy's played for like, I don't even know, like 15 years. And at one point his wages were garnished, where they were just like taking money directly out of his paycheck. Like he had to like take his parents to court and like get like all these like crazy like junctions. Like it was a mess, man. It was a complete mess. Like his parents really messed up.
God, some people are so shitty, just bad people to do that to your own child.
Insane, dude. Scamp knows what I'm talking about.
Good
It was just like
God.
crazy, because this guy, it's like you can't imagine, like this guy, it's not like they took out the loans and he was out of the league. He was in the league the whole time. Like good player,
That's wild.
getting paid millions, but they took out loans against his future earnings that were, you know, with the interest well exceeded what he was making.
That's ridiculous.
How could they do that without him?
Dude, that's the crazy part, man. Like I think he must have signed off on it at some point.
Like, can I take loans out on your future earnings? Could
I don't know, dude. That'd be pretty wild. Let's
just screwed. Yeah, I'm gonna take his money.
see
Any
how
money
much
he earns is gonna go to me.
let's see how much we can get. Yeah, I don't know. Like in hockey, when you get drafted, you're like 18 too. So
Jail, if you go into a bank and ask them for a loan based on my future earnings, they're going to ask you for money. You're going to have to give them $20,000.
Wanted to do.
And Mr. Scamper said some people are turds. No two ways about it. Sorry for the harsh
he's
language.
about it.
When I was a kid, I said turd to one of my friends, and then their mom came over and yelled at my mom and said I was talking to their kids about drugs. I was 7. I was a little kid, and she thought I had said turd and that it was some sort of slang for.
Do you know what a turd is?
No, she had no idea what a turd is. Just assumed that it was slang for drugs, and that the 7-year-old
going through life not knowing that word.
Or being so suspicious of children that you think the 7-year-old at your house, the word you don't know is surely drugs that he's trying to introduce your child to.
I feel like I could get by without knowing that word.
Turd.
Like you just encounter it in everyday life. Like I feel like people say that a lot.
It comes around. It comes around.
But some people hear words they don't know and they're just like, huh, don't know that one. And then they just keep going on with their day. Like if I hear a word I don't know, I'm Googling it. I'm stopping whatever I'm doing and we're finding out.
Dude, my iPad has this thing where when you're like reading books on it, you click the word and then it pulls up the definition.
The future is incredible.
Pretty cool, dude. Pretty cool. I'm learning stuff all the time.
Wow, you're so smart.
Probably smartest guy you know.
Yesterday, guys, we talked about that Bengals Chiefs game. Now the Chiefs are 1.5 point favorites. I don't know if you've been watching the motion on these lines. The Bengals are now 1.5 point favorites over the Chiefs on the road in Arrowhead. They got the Bengals as 1.5 point favorites. Do you think this is because of Patrick Mahomes' injury, or is this the narrative that the Chiefs can't beat the Bengals?
It's definitely based on the number of snarky quips that are coming out of the Bengals locker room. You know what I mean? It was like the spread was supposed to be -3 in favor of the Chiefs. And then Joe Burrow was like, better send those refunds. And all of a sudden, everybody was like, oh, moved down to -1. And then Sean McVay came out and he's like, the league's been doing everything they can to get this game going. And, it's a lot of trouble, setting up coin tosses and scheduling offsite refs and everything. And, we keep coming in and just messing all that up. And everyone's like, oh, now it's at +1 for the Bengals. So, that's how it goes. Dude.
Why did Sean McVay say that?
Sean McVay was saying that because he's such good friends with Zach Taylor.
So
he was like, me and my boy here. It says like the young coaches club. You familiar?
Oh yeah. Of course
their album came out last year. Their first album, the debut album of the Young Coaches Club. But yeah, they get together.
Entitled Garbage Pail Kids.
They kind of say things. I messed up the beginning of the quote. The quote started. This is what I would say if I was Zach Taylor. That's what Sean McVay said.
As coaches do all the time. They role play as each other during their press conferences.
Yeah. Mike Tomlin's like, this is what I would say if I was Bill Belichick. Snort.
It would be so funny to see Mike Tomlin just get up there and mock Bill Belichick and then get off the podium, do nothing else but a Billy B impression the whole time he's up there.
Oh my God. That would be amazing. Because how in like tennis, they do the thing where they like do impressions of each other. Have you ever seen that? We should do that with coaches and have them just do like at like the Pro Bowl or whatever, do like a mock press conference where they each got to do impressions of each other.
Let's do it. We'll make it happen.
That would be amazing.
Tyreek Hill, Belichick.
He'd have a little too much fun with that, I think. Like he would Bill Belichick might show up at his house and be like, you want to do that impression again?
Oh God.
Yeah. I would love to see the get up there and do old impressions, right? Like Pete Carroll get up there and be like, they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Oh, I thought you meant Pete Carroll get up there and do like Fran Tarkenton. Whenever you said old impressions, I thought you were just going to be like,
well, that one's pretty old. That one's like 20 years old.
Oh, God.
Pretty old.
Maybe not 20. How old is that? 2009, so 13 years old. That's Dennis Green, rest in peace.
That's wild. 13 years ago.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like very long.
Mr. Scamper said, I want to see Belichick do a George Kittle impression.
Oh, my God.
Kittle's amazing, dude. Did you see the clip of him finding the camera in the middle of that game? What an idiot, dude. Just looks up. He's like, dude, we pay attention for 1 second, please.
That dude just loves his job. Yeah. He is so happy that he plays football for a living.
I'm happy he does too.
Like some guys out there, I think like, of course, it's their dream job. They're happy they're out there. But some guys, I feel like every time they touch the field, there's just like an exuberance of joy radiating from them. And George Kittle, every time I see him on the field, it's almost contagious.
Yeah, it is. He is a fun dude. Maybe the most fun.
Maybe. He's up there.
Yes. Go ahead, Coop.
I was going to say, he would definitely be, if we were going to make a lineup of the most fun players, he would definitely be in that lineup.
He's a captain.
Jamal
Williams is the president of the entire thing.
Yeah. If we're gonna go with a fullback, who we go with? Probably got to be Kyle Juszczyk, right?
If we're gonna go with
Patrick
a fullback,
Ricard.
Patrick Ricard is actually pretty fun. And CJ
pretty
Ham.
Fun.
Who's the quarterback?
Small cats to me, but pretty fun.
That's a real tough question. Who's the quarterback of this team?
Most Drew Lock.
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce would be a perfect quarterback.
Jacoby Myers.
Let's go deep on every play.
Fun.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of I don't know who the quarterback would be. Are there any fun quarterbacks? Who's fun?
Oh.
Joe Burrow's fun, but not in the sense that I think we're talking here.
Yeah. Geno Smith, not. Geno Smith kind of fun. Chat, what do you guys got? Ryan Fitzpatrick. That'd be my quarterback.
There you go. That one checks out. That works out.
Yeah. We'll think about it.
You guys see the CJ Gardner Johnson tweet out a video of himself?
Yeah.
He had his car stolen in Philadelphia. So he went on Instagram Live. Sorry, it wasn't me. He went on Instagram Live saying, I know exactly who stole my shit. Don't worry, we got y'all down in Philly.
That's hilarious.
Someone stole this man Kia.
It's Hyundai Kia.
That's
That's
Kia.
that is just too funny, bro. Like that's so Philly, though.
That's so
Just-
fit.
Oh my god.
He said, I know exactly who stole my shit. Don't worry, we got you all on camera. I know exactly.
You know, someone saw that and just, like sweating, getting the panic sweats.
You know what?
Oh,
If you're stealing CJ Gardner Johnson's car, I bet him knowing who you are probably didn't scare you too much. Like that's a bold move to go steal an NFL player's car to begin with.
Likely they didn't know it was an NFL player's car.
Unless
Right.
they didn't know. And then them finding out might scare them a little bit.
It's just a
Well-
Kia.
Have you seen the like what likely why it got stolen? The trend that's been going on, like the social media trend with the Hyundais and the Kia.
Stealing
Yeah,
cars is the trend.
100% is. It's like this new like social media thing. Apparently, somebody figured out that like, you can use USBs, a USB somehow to steal. Hyundai and Kia are made by the same manufacturer. You can use a USB to basically break into these cars and steal them. And there's been like an ongoing thing where kids are like, basically stealing cars and taking videos like, "Woo!" and they're just like leaving them somewhere.
What a trend.
Yeah, it's like when I was a
Grand
kid.
Auto.
Yeah.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. We messed around as kids. Like, we did things, but it was like each of us stand on one side of the road and pretend like we pull a rope whenever a car drives by. Like, that was the trouble we got into.
Yeah, right. These kids are like, I crashed my car into the bridge. I don't care. I crashed your car into the bridge. Yeah. So that's the world we live in these days. It's a messed up world.
That's how y'all get down in Philly after a win.
They stole
That Kia back.
CJ GJ's car.
CJGJ.
GJ.
Is that his
That
nickname?
sound
That'd be
ridiculous.
awesome. It's CJ Gardner Johnson's name. CJ GJ.
He is now CJGJ. Say that 3 times fast.
CJ
CJ. CJ.
Siege Jeej.
CJG.
That's
CJ.
EG connection.
Siege Jeej. So I got a bit of drama for you guys. We like drama on the show, obviously. For those unaware of our official policy, it's that all rumors are true until proven false. If there's a rumor about you floating out there and we say it on the show, please, we welcome you. Come on and say it's not true. We would love.
We dare you.
We would love to help you defend yourself out there, Jim, or say anybody we bring up rumors because we're not making them up. You know what I mean? We don't make up rumors.
No, that's Reddit's job.
Yeah, that's Reddit's job. That's the internet's job.
That's my other account's job.
We will share that info. Now, according to Ian Rappaport, that is also Jordan Schultz's job because Ian Rappaport came on the Pat McAfee show and he implied on that show that a report by Jordan Schultz about Zach Wilson being lazy and skipping meetings is not true. So little bit of diciness going on there.
Never misses a meeting.
I mean, it's my guess, boys, is probably that it's somewhere in between. But Ian Rappaport came out and he was like, you know what? I know Schultz said that he's lazy and he jokes around and he skips some meetings, but according to my sources, that's not true. So we got a little bit of battle of the beats going on here. Who do you guys believe? Do you guys believe Rappaport or you believe Schultz?
Neither.
But did you watch that whole video, Coop?
No, of course not.
Well, at the very end, did you see who Ian Rappaport got that story from?
Zach Wilson's mom.
Very close.
Zach Wilson's dad.
It was Zach Wilson's dad that Ian Rappaport got that story from and said, but Zach Wilson's dad's talking to other people about it too.
Oh, okay. So now
Add another wrinkle. Not that Zach Wilson's dad is lying, but it does add
he's
some
certainly biased.
incentive. Right. He's definitely biased.
Not that he's lying, but he's not telling the truth.
Yeah.
I
In
ain't
the chat, say,
calling you a
good morning,
truther.
my guys. Good morning, Dustin.
Dustin.
Welcome
What up,
in,
Dustin?
my friend.
Welcome.
We're just talking about
my
how
friend.
Ian Rappaport and Zach Wilson's dad are liars.
Fire.
Pants on fire.
I'm interested to see where Zach Wilson ends up this year.
Probably with the Jets.
Quick, where do you guys think? If you one shot today,
New York Jets.
where's him? Simon?
Arizona Cardinals
Oh, Arizona Cardinals.
Whoa.
as a backup. is where I'm
go-
thinking.
That would be insane, bro.
Oh, it would be kind of crazy. I'll go with Panthers.
Probably
The old minor league, the farm team for the New York Jets.
That's true. Bring back Robbie Anderson. Get the gang back together.
Tommy said Quickie Mart is where Zach Wilson's going to end up. And Scamper said Zach Wilson to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking Cowboys, did you guys see what the Cowboys tweeted about Dak?
No.
Mid-game. I think this was mid-game. He said the Cowboys official account on Twitter said, this is Photoshop now that I'm looking at it. But it's Dov Kleiman. It said Dak Prescott gave away the ball twice in the narrow loss to the 49ers in a matchup. Cowboys had a chance to win if they didn't again generate self-inflicted wounds. But now that I'm looking at it, it looks definitely photoshopped.
If it was tweeted by Jordan Loop, then it's definitely not real.
Jail, I found
it's not a Jordan Loop.
I'm seeing on NBCSports.com an article about that tweet.
So maybe this.
Yeah. But it's the one that says if they didn't again generate self-inflicted wounds with Dak Prescott gave away the ball twice. Yeah. That's kind of odd for your team account to tweet out about your franchise quarterback, right? Like after the game to come out and say, Dak Prescott gave away the ball twice and we lost because of it. The end.
Right.
They're just throwing them to the wolves.
I mean, kind of true.
Right, but you're a team, right? You're a team. You don't come out and roast your star quarterback. You win and lose as a team.
It does nothing for you to do that.
Exactly. Like just because it's true doesn't mean it's all right. There's things that are true that you don't say. You don't walk up to people and tell them, "Hey, you're ugly as shit." You don't walk up to people like you just keep some things in because it's better for everybody around. It's going to make things worse for you. It's going to make things worse for them. If everyone who saw me walked up and told me I was ugly, I'd be so sad. But they keep it to themselves.
And Tony in here adding some game. This is post game tweet.
Post game tweet. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're supposed to. When you're the guy on top, you're supposed to take the blame yourself. That's how it should work, right? Like Jerry Jones should be like, "This is my fault," because there's nobody above him that can fire him.
Do anything.
You know.
Yeah.
One of the top replies to that tweet is, "Who's running this account? Jerry Jones."
That'd be amazing if it was.
The Dallas Cowboys account is run because I mean, you can imagine like a social media intern being like, I know what'll help me keep my job. Taking shots at the starting quarterback.
The funny thing is, like, if you want to blame Dak Prescott and you want to blame Zeke Elliott, like a lot of people are, those are Jerry Jones's guys. He's been the most outspoken about those players, those two especially. And those are the ones that have got the big money. I mean, say what you will. I'm a big Zeke fan. I always have been, but
with you,
with $90 million, you got to get a little more out of him. You know what I mean? He's got it. If Tony Pollard goes down, you got it. You that $90 million, you should be comfortable with what you have back there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a rough situation because he, clearly he can still play, but I think he's more of a complimentary back. Like he's more of an early down back than an every down back. So, kind of a tough spot for them.
Dustin in here saying the Cowboys account does this a lot. They employ critics and they can give their real thoughts. So here's my thoughts on that. There's like, I love the idea of critics being able to voice their thoughts, but you are the team account. Your one job is to hype up the team. It's a social media account for the Cowboys. That's like, there's a platform for everything. And I don't think maybe your team account where all the fans are going to be a community is the place to be like, well, let's make sure we criticize everything here right now. That seems like it's creating a toxic fan base.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say Joe. I see Joey in the chat. Joey mentioned Loop got Bill Burr's wife commenting on one. So our buddy Jordan Loop, good friend of the show. He's on my podcast on Mondays. He tweets out these like fake quotes all the time, which is so funny. He sent one that instead of Sean McDermott, it was a picture of Bill Burr, and a ton of people liked it. 3,000 people like it, and Nia Burr just commented on it. Was like, "That's not my husband." Too funny,
That's
dude.
not-
Hey, but Joey, while we have you in the chat, I want to ask you specifically a question, or anybody else that knows. The Oscar nominations, are those out? Those are out today, and when does that happen? Or has that already happened? Because I'm interested. I want to know what I like to because I know the Oscars aren't for like a month or two.
Coop, I'm gonna send you a link. I'm gonna send you a link to something real quick that should be able to help you with that.
Okay. Yes.
It's called, I don't know if you've heard, it's called google.com.
So I actually checked
that.
that. I checked that and it did not have that information.
It didn't tell you when the Oscars were?
Google it right now. I know when the Oscars are. They're March 12th. I want to know when the nominations come out. So why don't you Google it and tell me right now then?
Okay, we'll
Did
find
you guys
out.
ever use that thing that in college where
January 24th. Today.
Okay, what time?
Okay, now you're
One
changing the
second.
goalposts. So go ahead, JL.
I know. I was asking Joey what time.
Go
you
ahead,
can
JL.
send you can send people a link whenever situation arises, and they go to the link and it just is
Let me
like
Google
a
that for you.
recording. Yeah, let me Google it for you, and you go to it. It just sits
Yeah.
there and types it into Google.
Yeah. Oh, obviously I Googled it first before I asked Joey, but now I have Simon figuring it out for me. So
8:30 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday.
there it is. And Joey said in like
There it is.
15 minutes. So there we got the we did it.
Wrong.
Dustin said just Googled it. January 24th, 8:30 EST.
Perfect. Yeah, I didn't have
Nice.
I couldn't Google it because I'm doing a show.
Like that stopped you in the past.
Nice.
We'll hear one. We'll mention like
Hands.
biscuits, and people be like, "Oh, there was a lot to learn about biscuits."
Sorry, I went into a rabbit
Sorry.
hole about quantum biscuits.
My hands are tied. My hands are coiled around this hot microphone.
This is hot
Hey.
mic.
But
Scott Fish
thank you,
hot
thank you,
take.
Simon, for doing that research for me. I appreciate you.
Scott Fish says hot take. Who says that? That just maybe their job is to engage and create interaction that gains followers. Maybe also the old bad press is still press thing is constant awareness.
I'm sure they've got reasons, and I think those reasons are good. I'm saying I think like it would be more productive for the team if it was a place. Like I think there's a reason most teams do it that way, not just do it because everybody else is doing it. There's plenty of critics for every single NFL team all over the place, and they have platforms everywhere to voice their opinions. Your team space is a place to celebrate your team and generate positivity. Don't worry, Cowboys fans. People will generate plenty of negativity for you. They hate you. You're one of the most hated teams in the United States. You don't need to put the critics on your team page. Maybe you have one spot where people aren't just hating the Cowboys.
Yeah, think of it from Dak Prescott's perspective, right? It's like, okay, cool, create engagement at my expense. That's great. That always feels good when your employer is trying to create engagement at your expense.
Yeah,
Don't worry, I'm just using you to generate engagement. I'm sure that's fine.
don't-
Yeah,
Yeah,
in the grand scheme, Dak, don't worry, it's a good thing. We just need some more followers. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're just hurting your prospect a little bit for our few Twitter followers here, but it's all good. It's all good, man. Don't worry about it.
I like when the sports teams' official accounts like roast each other on Twitter.
Yeah, that is the best.
That's the best way to do it. Not their own
100%.
players.
No. So
Hey,
some more
they got us talking about them though. So there is.
It did. It
fortunate.
worked. It worked.
You got us.
yeah, but I just went and unfollowed them on Twitter.
Oh,
Ooh,
that, Cowboys.
You lost it. You lost the Texas man, Dallas.
you lost the Texas man. Some more yesterday. Back Saquon Barkley came out that running back Saquon Barkley turned down a contract extension for $12 million a year. He said he's not looking to, or he recently told the media he's not looking to reset the market, but the report does claim Barkley is looking for Christian McCaffrey type money from Dob Kleiman on Twitter. Looking for
McCaffrey
about
got like 16, yeah, 15, 16. I think he deserves it because like the guys in that range are like Zeke, Kamara, 15, 16. I don't see. I mean, the problem with that is that you look at those players and you're like, oh man, that might have been a mistake, right? So it's like it's kind of hard from that standpoint of like, do you want to be the next team that pays a running back and then watches him do what running backs do, which is age? So
get out, cheese.
Get the ouchies. But I think he definitely needs to get a minimum of 12 million because that's what like guys like Mixon and Chubb and Henry all get. So like It's not like he's going to get less than that. Somewhere in
It
that
seems
range.
like that's disproportionately trusted here.
It's kind of crazy how few running backs actually get to that the big second contract. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you have like there's a pretty big drop off from the top group to the next group. Right.
Yeah. Simon, how are you feeling about Saquon Barkley's situation here? Do you think he'll be with the Giants?
I think so. And I think what he's asking is reasonable and they'll get it done. He's right when he says he's not asking to reset the market. He just wants to be in that top group, right? He's not trying to set records. He's not trying to do anything crazy. I bet they get him up near 14, 15 million and they make it work. Get him on that team.
It's kind of interesting. I'm looking at the numbers now. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have 8 guys making between 12 and 16 million. So McCaffrey, Zeke, Kamara, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones. With Joe Mixon and Aaron Jones making exactly 12 million, the next highest paid guy after Aaron Jones is Saquon Barkley at 7.8 million on his rookie deal. So like you have a huge gap. There's no running back that gets paid between 8 and 12 million. Nobody even in that range. It goes from this big group of guys that's getting paid 12 plus, and then it drops right down to everybody else's 8 and below. So it's like very few guys really do jump into that elite money tier. It's kind of messed up that way because when you consider the amount of workload these guys carry, you know.
You guys think it's unfair? You guys think it's unfair for the same 5-year rookie contract as the other position player?
No, and that's a great point. I never thought about that, but just my initial reaction is it's not quite the same.
Right.
It limits their total career earning potentials because their careers are shorter.
There's a lot of crazy disparities like that in NFL contracts. I just tweeted one yesterday where you look at this weekend, right? George Kittle, Dallas Goedert, Travis Kelce, all 3 of those guys were blocking like crazy. They led their team in production in most cases. All 3 of those guys this week essentially led their team in production. So why is it that there are 24 wide receivers that get paid more than all 3 of those guys? Those guys are getting like 15 million a year, and these wide receivers are getting like 20, 25 million. And it's basically
like Christian Kirk, 21 million.
Right. Like Christian Kirk, like Travis Kelce puts up Christian Kirk numbers, and he's an absolute monster in the run game. Same with Kittle, same with Goddard. I'm sure Christian Kirk is a good blocker, but like it's not the same.
It's not Travis Kelce.
You know what I mean? It's like at the that should almost be flipped. And not to mention, a lot of the times these tight ends play longer and are productive longer than these wide receivers, right? Like, so I don't know, man. It's kind of upside down. Bill Belichick for years seemed to be leaning into that, drafting Gronk and Aaron Hernandez in the same draft, going out and getting Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. Maybe they weren't, maybe they haven't panned out the way they thought, but at the time they were the number 1 and number 2 free agent tight ends available. So at least he's looking at it and saying, yeah, I'll take that discount. He's the same guy that would always have like instead of paying corners big money, he'd have the highest paid safety. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting in this league when you look around at some of the disparities. But I agree. They got to do something, because why would you want to be a running back in this league if you could be like a cornerback or a wide receiver?
Hey, Jail, who's getting paid more per year? Nyheim Hines or Austin Eckler?
Feels like you wouldn't ask me unless it was Nyheim Hines. I'm going to go Austin Eckler.
It's Nyheim Hines.
Damn it.
Ever so slightly. It was the double trick, but Nyheim Hines, 6.2 million a year. Austin Eckler, 6.125. Just looking at these contracts, I'm sure there's all sorts of specifics that make it make more sense, but it's kind of wild.
That is.
Saw a statistic yesterday, a fun statistic that it was from the Viking subreddit, originally posted by, I can't even pronounce their name. I was just reading it wrong. Can I get a whoop whoop? Posted this in the Viking subreddit. Justin Jefferson has 69 first down receptions on first down, 69 first down receptions on second down, and 69 first down receptions on third down. On every down except for fourth down, he has exactly 69 first down receptions.
Oh, yeah. you know,
He's got to retire, right?
handle it. Dude, no, they need to go for it on 4th down more. Get that 4th down number. Get that 4th
They
down
just need to
number.
take him off the field for first 3 snaps and let him come out and try to convert on 4th down until it's all 4 downs.
I was actually looking at that stat, and the most shocking part of it was, to me, that he converted, what was it? He converted 6 first downs. That's pretty crazy. How often are teams converting first downs in general? This guy converted 6. I remember one against the Bills that was like 4th and like 13. Like Justin Jefferson is just a man. And that's why it's so crazy to me that this guy is converting, 69 of each. That's like 200 first downs. They couldn't throw this guy the ball in the second half of a playoff game. What are they doing?
Got to get him to 69.
Got to get him up to 69. But I mean, how do they not throw him the ball at the end of that playoff game? It boggles my mind. You throw
I have no idea.
TJ Hawkinson short of the sticks. What are they doing?
Beats me.
Beats
Do
me.
you guys see the report? Patriots are likely parting ways with offensive coordinator, which we kind of earlier this week or last week. Coop, how you feeling about this?
Who's hiring Matt Patricia?
They're not hiring. They're opposite. They're firing Matt Patricia. Apparently, allegedly.
So I'm surprised it's taken this long. Maybe they're waiting. I figured that what would happen is they wouldn't fire him. They would just hire. So they never gave him the title of offensive coordinator, technically. Like if you go on the website, you look at all the things, like technically no one carried the title of offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, which you don't have to have that. Like you can have anybody do the play calling duties, So I kind of figured that they would just keep him on the team and then eventually hire someone to do the play calling. But if they're going to straight up fire him, I don't care if he gets fired or if he's still with the organization doing something else, as long as he's not calling the plays. That's my feeling.
Yeah,
So,
and the part of this report that Dustin adds clarity to, and also it's in this tweet here, it's that he's on his way out now that the Lions aren't going to pay his salary. So now they will no longer be paying salary, and the Patriots would have to pay. That's a good incentive for Matt Patricia.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And it's like what Coop was talking right there. Bill Belichick, always looking to save a dollar. He'll figure it out. Oh, I can sign tight ends instead of wide receivers. Okay. Oh, the Lions will pay his salary. That works for me.
That's got to be tough. That's got to be tough part of that organization, which is, I mean, the NFL is pretty Machiavellian, but Bill Belichick took that to like a whole new truth.
100%. Speaking of not saving money, I saw that this NFC title game is set to be the most expensive title game on record. Get-in standing room price is currently $883 for a standing room ticket to this NFC title game, and 18% of ticket sales are coming from California. And in this tweet, they're saying, remember, 49ers also have a national fan base, so San Francisco could have a big portion of this crowd. Standing room tickets, $883 to go stand for a whole NFL game.
That's ridiculous.
I think I'd still be down. I would never stand during 1:00 games when I could be home watching Red Zone. But I mean, there's only 3 football games left this year. If my team was playing, I'd go and stand
For $883.
I would go and
Yes,
stand.
even that you just get the ticket for free. If it's for free, then sure.
Yeah,
stand.
If it's for free, I'd stand for $800.
I'm not
$800
paying $800 to stand.
Yeah, $800. I'd stand at the Super Bowl, but probably not at the NFC Championship game. I don't know though. We look back a lot of times at the games that we could have gone to, it didn't go to, and sometimes you miss some all-time classics. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you do.
Sometimes you avoid watching the opposite of a classic, like that Bills Bengals went to.
Yeah.
Whenever DeMar Hamlin went down, that would have been awful.
That would have been bad. Yeah. Or you just stand.
Hundreds of dollars.
I'm glad you were not at that game, JL.
Me too. Me too.
That would have been absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
This video that was on Twitter about, well, Brett Meyer was trying to kick his pregame field goals. 49ers players are being little punks. You guys see this?
No, I want to see it.
I think he's got the video for us.
Keith, roll the tape.
Wake up.
Zoom in. Where are they? Who am I watching? Oh, they're standing next to him.
So they're they're trying to do the pregame kick warm-ups, and they're just sitting there walking in their way, not letting them actually kick. This can't be allowed.
I love that.
He's just there.
They're doing that on purpose, without a doubt, right? They're just trying.
I just watched that dude shuffle his feet to get more in the way. There's no question they're doing that on purpose. It looks like in soccer when you go to take the free kick and everyone's like lining up.
The snapper is pissed. He's getting so mad.
They look like middle school bullies who are like, "Oh, sorry, were you standing here? Oh, sorry, were you doing something here? This is actually where I stand."
He starts standing behind him and like humping in the air while he's not looking.
What a rough warm up. Then he misses 2 extra points, and Jerry Jones has to come yell at him. Like, God, what a bad day at the office.
Maybe Jerry Jones actually came down to fight off all the 49ers players and then just stop by to have a little chat with Brett. But he was like,
don't let him bother you.
He came in to save the day. Jerry Jones is a hero. I just want to go on the record. Jerry Jones is not a hero.
Nah.
And please don't clip me saying Jerry Jones is a hero.
Speaking of owners, you guys hear Jeff Bezos is reportedly willing to sell his newspaper, the Washington Post, to buy the Washington Commanders. And, you know, a lot of people in general, if Jeff Bezos was going to buy a team, there probably would be some people maybe opposed to it. They might not like this guy, but the guy that owns the team currently, Dan Snyder, people like even less. So how do you guys feel about Jeff Bezos potentially coming in and owning a team?
A billionaire is a billionaire, but at least this one didn't prostitute off his cheerleaders. So better than Dan Snyder owning it.
Just send a couple dick pics.
Yeah, very true. Not to mention, like having guys like that as part of the ownership group is good for the league. I mean, the more money surrounding the league, the better. Amazon's gonna be plastered all over everything, but who cares? Amazon's all right.
Amazon's already plastered all over everything. I know they're the big evil corporation, but like it's so convenient, man. You did it.
You did it. You made it super convenient.
You made it so convenient that I just forgive all moral misgivings because like my life would just be like significantly worse if I said no more Amazon.
Exactly. I mean, those corporations are so big and evil that we've actually brought up both Amazon and Google on the show without even meaning it. I don't know. Yeah, here, I have an iPhone too. There you go. Yeah, now we've covered it all. Now we've covered all the evil corporations, the gigantic evil tech corporations. What else? What do we miss? What do we need to hit on?
Well, Alan here said it's like going from Satan to Lucifer.
Yeah.
I'd go a couple steps down. I don't know.
Lucifer feels better than Satan. Which one's nicer?
Maybe Beelzebub.
Beelzebub.
So I'm for it. I'm down for Jeff Bezos. It's time. Get Snyder out of there. He's a jerk.
I don't care that it's Jeff Bezos. I more care that Snyder's getting out of there. And JL is a former Washington fan who left probably in large part because of Snyder. Will this change anything about your fandom, or you're in on Baltimore now? It's unrelated.
It's probably unrelated. Yeah, it is good to see Snyder is a not a person, just really the human equivalent of a garbage can. So anything is better.
So official report just came in within the last 5 minutes. The Patriots are officially hired Alabama offensive coordinator, QB coach, former coach and GM of the Texans, also former offensive coordinator of the New England Patriots from 2007 to 2011. Bill O'Brien,
winner of the butt chin competition of the year.
He beat out the other two top contestants, Tom Brady and the Crimson Chin, and took it home. So, yep, Bill O'Brien will be the offensive coordinator of your New England Patriots. That's
what you wanted. You were looking. You said you were going to be happy with that, right? Whenever we talked about it as a hypothetical.
Yeah, exactly what I wanted. Because the thing was, Bill O'Brien, he wasn't the offensive coordinator in 2007, but he was part of that coaching staff when they had arguably the best offensive season of all time. The quarterback threw 50 touchdowns. The wide receiver set the record for touchdown receptions. And then he was the offensive coordinator in 2011, right? Like he was part of that run, 2007 and 2011. Saw some of the best offensive football that we've ever seen, and then he got the head coaching job at another team where he was pretty good. You know what I mean? They went to the playoffs a couple times. He was a bad GM. He's not gonna have to worry about that now. All he has to worry about is calling the plays. So I'm all for it, man. Went to hang out with Nick Saban. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Get him in there, baby. Get him in there. Also, I'm with you, Coop. I think it's a great spot for him to be in. And as an offensive coordinator, he'll likely kill it. We got Hallen here saying, will there ever be a time where these billionaire owners actually have to pay for their own stadiums? No, it's a scam that we all just accept, that taxpayers will pay for the stadiums that these billionaires want built to make them more money. It'll never happen. It is absurd. It's absolutely absurd. And then they'll hold cities hostage saying they're going to leave the city.
Or they just will leave the city.
And then they do. Yeah, they will do it if you don't pay for their stadium. It's
NFL of ransom.
It truly is. Like, it really is. It makes me so mad every time it comes up. Like, oh, they're threatening to leave city if city won't provide payment for the stadium. Especially when it's Buffalo. That city loves their team. Don't threaten Buffalo to leave.
Dude, remember that? That was last year, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Harry Pagula saved him, dude. And now he's going to build a dome.
Yo, guys, coming up, we are going to play some vague descriptions. We've got a segment we call the Moreau You Know. We're going to teach you a little something we've learned recently. We're going to play some Quotey McQuote face a little bit later as well. And then got some pens to sell in a segment we call Sell Me This Pen. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Call, chat, and enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network. Moose and Keith.
Because I never asked you this. When Noah was growing up, when did Noah first where you got a sense that this is what my son wanted to do?
I was really busy during his formative years. I didn't meet Noah until he was about 19.
Nice. So, your wife did a good job.
Yeah, you may want to talk to your wife. I would say about 13, he started showing a legitimate interest. He started getting curious about how I prepared, what it required, and then I saw a little bit of a shift, 14, 15, where he was concentrating on the on-cameras, the interaction between play-by-play and analyst, and started probably taking mental notes at that point of the performance aspect of, okay, you do all this prep, and you got to go out and deliver it. So, yeah, probably that 14, 15 range, I thought to myself, this could be something he really wants to do.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
You don't need to be like right 100% of the time.
No, there was a tweet about the refs that had me kind of cracking up the other day because somebody was like, we have the technology to track the ball down to a centimeter and figure out what speed these guys are running on the field. Yet somehow we still mark the ball by
That's my favorite.
A 60-year-old dude eyeballing it, and then we run over with literal chains and measure it. It's like, you think we can probably get that figured out.
The least precise way to measure something, and then immediately following that up with a super precise way of measuring something.
Yeah,
it's like we have satellite.
Like if you're a millimeter short of that chain that they bring out there, that they ran out it as best they could in a straight line. But if you first they just go here, and then they grab the chains and they run in the straightest line possible. But then if you are 1 millimeter short with that football, it doesn't count. Sorry. Couldn't have been human error. You're just short.
That's exactly. And they bring up the index card or whatever. Meanwhile, they have satellites in space tracking how fast Brandon Ayuk ran on an end around. But we can't.
and I can see that number live while he's doing it. Like I can see every player's speed on the screen live.
I love that. It's and not to mention that dude's trying to make the spot, and the player always tosses the ball right into his face. Right, he's coming over to spot it, and it's every other time the player's just here you go. Here's another thing to juggle.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Is it me, Ray, or is the only publicity that Microsoft Surface has gotten out of their whole thing on the sideline is people throwing them to the ground in anger? Like, is that just a me thing? Or the only time I hear about this device, Ray, is when somebody is chucking it on the ground, just pissed off at it, which I get it. All of us are in that world. We love to do that. Only in the NFL, Ray, can they get away with it because these are free. There's no cost. It's part of the sponsorship. Here's 5,000 Microsoft tablets to get you through the NFL season, and these players are just slamming them down. It's like they've become Dilbert on the sideline, and they're so frustrated. They're just like the only publicity this company and this product has gotten is negative.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We're about to get into a game we call Vague Descriptions. Before we do that, though, if you like what we're doing over here, you enjoy the kinds of games that we play, games like Vague Descriptions, Quotey, McQuote Face, Fantasy Jeopardy, Fantasy Fortune. We got all sorts of those over on our YouTube channel. Hit that like button on this video and head on over to our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the games we're playing over there. See John in the chat, John Edwards. What's up, John? He said, what's up, guys? Hope everyone has a wonderful, blessed day. Hope you're doing well, John. Thanks so much for stopping by. We appreciate it, my friend.
What up, John?
Yeah.
What up, John?
What up?
Guys, it is raining really hard outside at my house now. And I have a yard that at one point had grass, but it turns out something I learned living in a house where I was responsible for the yard for the first time solely. I don't know how to take care of grass, especially in Texas heat. And so my yard is now just a pit of dirt, and it is raining, and I have 2 dogs, and boy, do they have fun. But boy, do I not have fun on days like today, because every time they go out, it is a project. It's not like just, oh, dogs are outside. Like, I'm going to let them have fun. They're going to run around and play in the mud, but it's going to be work for me every time. Like, and they're not going to be happy about it either.
What's more work though, really? Is it more work to clean your dogs every once in a while, or is it more work to maintain grass in your yard?
Maintain grass in my yard.
Grass in the yard is a nightmare. Try to do that one year. It's impossible. Out there every like person.
Yeah, the only houses with grass on my street are the ones where I see them outside watering their grass every day. And I only walk by once a day. So that means that they're probably out there a lot watering their grass.
They're down there with scissors, like hand clipping.
Have you guys seen the clover lawns where people replace their lawn with clover instead of with grass? Because apparently it needs very little water. It's really hardy. And even when it grows thick, it doesn't grow very tall. So like it'll at most get like 3 inches tall, which isn't all that tall. And then you can cut it super easily. That's what I want is clover.
Sounds like a Scott Fish trend.
Clover grass?
Feels like he would have. Yeah, he's a big 4-leaf clover guy.
I got to get it in there. Hal recommending AstroTurf. Honestly, I'd be down for that. The only thing I worry about is the cleanliness with dogs for AstroTurf.
Sounds like science fiction.
It does.
AstroTurf.
Turn your yard into
Get into
space.
our game of vague descriptions.
I was born ready.
I was born ready. All right, Coop, you were going first in this one, in this game, followed by Simon.
That's me.
Simon, did you already describe the rules?
No, I didn't do anything.
Oh, well, if this is your first time joining us to play vague descriptions, here's how it works. I'm going to give these contestants, each of these contestants, different vague descriptions of various things. I'm going to give them a category. I'm going to give them a vague description of something. They have to tell me, trying to describe. If they are able to get it right, they're going to get a point. If they are unable to get it correct, they're the opportunity to steal that point by guessing it correctly. Very, very simple rules and mechanisms here. You guys ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
All right, Coop. You are going first. Here is your first vague description. Your category is movie. And your vague description is: a boy whose only friend is an eccentric neighbor must shun his mother's affection or he will exist.
One more time, please. Eccentric neighbor.
Boy whose only friend is an eccentric neighbor must shun his mother's affection or he will cease to exist.
Boy whose only friend is an eccentric neighbor must shun his mother's affection or he will cease to exist.
And friendly reminder, play along in the
I got it.
guesses in the chat.
And I'm going to close
If you are
it.
correct, we will shout you out. If you're wrong, we'll make fun of you. Coop, what do you think?
Or he'll cease to exist. That I do not know. So I'm going to go. I don't know the answer to this. So I'm going to go with Casper.
Casper is incorrect. Simon, you have the opportunity to steal here.
I believe one Mr. John Mulaney had a stand-up bit about this movie being pitched and what you proposed. Can you imagine being in the room when this movie was pitched and they proposed someone going back in time and then trying to sleep with their mother? This is Back to the Future, where Doc Brown is his eccentric neighbor who's his best friend, and his mom tries to sleep with him whenever he goes back in time.
Simon, Back to the Future is correct. Well done. You're going to steal this point. Well done.
I've
Very
seen
good.
that movie so many times, just an absurd amount of times. Yeah.
That's surprising.
My dad and I used to watch those movies all the time growing up.
Really?
A little
Are you big
nostalgia.
fans?
Yeah, I like those. I haven't seen them in years. Maybe it's time to rewatch them.
Maybe it is.
Put them on the
All
list
right.
ahead. Do they go ahead or behind Shawshank Redemption on the big
Ahead.
list
It
of
goes
movies?
Nacho Libre, Back to the Future 1, Back to the Future 3, Back to the Future 2, Shawshank Redemption.
Right. You got to check back in on the classics first, and then because you got to warm your palate up, right?
Exactly.
With something familiar.
Right.
Of course.
That makes sense.
The 4-leaf clover girl. I suck at it. I don't believe you. You can't suck at it because everything is based off of the scale of me, which is I've never found a 4-leaf clover.
Well,
Never
I will
once
say
in my life.
I will say this: anyone that's met Scott Fish, virtually everyone that I've talked to that has met Scott Fish is surprised at how tall Scott Fish is. And the taller Scott Fish is a very tall individual. The taller you are, the more difficult it is to spot.
Coop, what you're forgetting is the only way to actually look for a 4-leaf clover is to lay on your belly with your hands like this, kicking your feet, and then you can take a hand down to look for one. So like height would really get taken out of it in that regard, right?
Yeah, but you have well, actually, if that's the case, then height might actually help. It gives you an easier way to look for patches to go lie down in.
Right. Exactly.
It's true.
So in that case, Scott, you really have no excuse. Get out there and get us a clover.
To go get here and get us a.
Now, my question is, did Ian inherit the 4-leaf clover finding ability from the other side, or has he been cursed with your bumbling inability to identify these plants?
Let us know.
It's a good question. Yeah, it's in the chat. Nick here, since I'm going to have a Slumdog Millionaire game.
Ooh, here we go.
We'll see.
It started with one.
That is one, yeah.
This next one is yours. You ready?
Slumdog Millionaire, where he recalled having seen the movie by having seen the movie. Oh no, it was John Mulaney. Okay, no, I'll give it to you. That's Slumdogging. That's Slumdogging it. John Mulaney stand-up bit.
Yeah, we got there.
Yeah, okay.
What's next for me, Jo?
All right, Simon. Your next category is football.
Norte Americano.
And your vague description is, when you show them what you got before you show them what you got.
When you show them what you got before you show them what you got. Would this be a false start penalty?
This is not a false start penalty.
I figured it might be a misdirect. That's why I wasn't confident.
Coop, you have an opportunity to steal here. When you show them what you got. Category
Simon sounds like he has it. Is this play action?
This is not play action.
We take another shot here?
I'll give you one more round.
Is this a preseason game?
This is not a preseason game.
Huh.
Yes, though.
When you show them what you got before you show them what you got.
Sending a dick pic?
Is this Brett Favre?
It's also
is,
the answer.
Is this? Show him what you got before you show him what you got.
Because
Is this?
Dun, 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 dun.
Is this a? I don't. I have no idea. Is this a? Is this a flea flicker?
this is not a flea flicker. This is a pregame warm up.
Oh, okay.
Simon, your answer preseason game is very good.
Very close.
And
I agree.
yeah,
Possession arrow.
describe that. Wasn't what I was describing, but it could have described that. So well done.
Possession arrow my way.
Possession arrow Simon's way.
I was thinking about it with this game. With this game, it does have it be like, even if it does apply to multiple things, it being the main thing that you're trying to describe.
100%.
That's kind of that's the grading line I've found.
Exactly. But like synonyms are allowed, right? Like, so if you were like, if the word was play action, but I said fake handoff pass, then
I would have used use my discretion to probably give you a point on that one if I feel like you're in the same vein.
Exactly. And now if it's close, Simon has a possession arrow.
Coop, this next one's your. Before we do that, if you're not looking for colors in Komodo, you're doing it wrong.
You just suck them all up, actually.
Yeah, you can't actually see any of them because you keep licking them all. All right, Simon. No, sorry, Coop. Coop, this one is yours. The category is football. Big description is a really oopsie while switching.
A really big oopsie while switching.
Mm-hmm.
Illegal substitution.
Illegal substitution is incorrect. Simon?
12 men on the field.
12 men on the field is incorrect. Coop, you have one more chance.
A really big oopsie while switching.
Here, maybe this will help. Oopsie.
Oopsie. Hey, that's pretty big. That's pretty big oopsie.
I'm
switching.
What's it going to be, Coop?
I was just trying to put you in like the mindset of someone who was in this situation.
Transport you.
A really big oopsie while switching. Is that hurry up. I don't know, delay a game.
Delay of game is incorrect. Simon, your last chance.
Yeah, for all that shit talk I just said to Coop, I probably should have an answer ready. That way I'm not sitting here stalling. A really big oopsie.
Oopsie.
A really big oopsie while switching is definitely, without a doubt, the switching they're referring to is the switching of quarterbacks. And this is Bailey Zappi specifically.
Bailey Zappi specifically is what you're going with?
Yeah, that's my answer.
Okay, that is incorrect.
Damn it.
Some guesses in the chat. We got turnover from Hal, fumble snap from Hal. Did we already say hi to Hal?
What's up, Hal?
What up, Hal?
Good morning, Hal.
Work and grind, baby.
Yeah, we've been talking to work and grind. We haven't said Hal, though.
We have. Hal's been in here. I don't think we said hi. Let's. Is a muffed punt.
I was thinking switching offense to defense, but for some reason I forgot the play that does that.
Right. That would be the one. Yeah, that's no, it makes sense. That's a very vague description of exactly that. Darn it.
Very vague.
That was a good one, JL.
But it is vague and it is right. The best ones have us sitting here like, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I always feel good when you guys are ready to fight me, and then afterwards you're like, "Damn it! All right,
can't really fight that." Okay.
Yeah. Some good guesses. Fumble the snap. Also apply switching who's holding the ball, but not what I was. So no points for you, Simon. This one is yours. You ready?
Yeah, I got this one. We went a little cold there, but now we're back on it.
We're back. We're back on our heater. Hopefully. This category is movie. And your vague
Movie.
description is a wisecracking boiler technician teaches high school students to believe in their dreams.
A wisecracking boiler technician teaches high school students to believe in their dreams. I do not remember the plot of this movie at all. I'm just going based off the cover, and we talked about it recently. Flubber?
Flubber is incorrect. Coop.
Can you tell me one more time?
A wisecracking boiler technician teaches high school students to
Believe
How
their
are you-
dreams. A wisecracking boiler technician teaches high school students to believe their dreams.
believe in their
in-
dreams.
Maybe I haven't seen this one. Wisecracking boiler technician.
Wisecracking boiler room technician. What? I feel like I know a general idea of what a boiler room is, but I just like, I don't know for sure.
Right. Yeah, I don't
It's got
know.
the boiler in it.
Is this
How? Austin
Wise-
Muffed is so fun because I'm an
I don't know.
adult.
Is this hardball?
This is hard. Can you imagine if that was if Keanu Reeves in Hardball was a boiler technician?
I mean, what was his job? They never really said he had a job besides just being kind of a deadbeat. Yeah.
yeah, degenerate. I don't know.
Yeah.
Simon, you have an opportunity to guess again.
I'm gonna go with Camp Rock.
Camp Rock is incorrect. Coop, last chance.
Is this School of Rock?
School of Rock. Gets a good chat. Just the Dead Poets. Scampers to Titanic. How's that?
I thought of Dead Poet Society, but then I remember that he's actually a teacher.
He's just a teacher, yeah. The answer to this one, a wisecracking boiler technician who teaches high school students to believe in their dreams, is A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Boo.
Freddy Krueger.
First of all, boo. Second of all, okay. Second of all, all right. Yeah.
I was so down the like child's movie path that I would have never gotten there.
No,
but
no chance.
what a beautiful misdirect in there, JL. You really
Yeah.
did a good job. I thought the misdirect was going to be on the boiler room guy, not on the follow your dreams.
Right. Boo.
Little
Stink
tricky.
ass.
That was very
Little
little
tricky.
tricky. That was very tricky, dude.
But
Coop,
the
we're back.
cover of
I
Flubber,
think
does
we're
it
back.
not look like he does that? Because I don't remember the plot of Flubber at all, but like Robin Williams with his hair stuck straight up, and that looks like a wisecracking boiler room technician.
I only remember the basketball part of that movie. Is that a basketball movie? Like, is the main part of the movie basketball? I think it is.
Yeah, it is. It's a basketball movie.
That's a
Oh, wow.
sports,
So-
Flubber's
watch
a
it
sports
again.
movie, right?
Flubber's
Yeah,
a sport.
Flubber's a sports movie. Air
And
Flub.
Hal said he's a science fool. Yeah, I think I do that.
Is it classified as a sports movie?
Probably not.
I'm gonna ask that Twitter question: is Flubber a sports movie?
All right. Let's see. Who went first in the last one? That was Coop?
Me, I said Flubber.
Flubber. So Coop, we're back to you. You ready?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not googling anything about Flubber right now.
All right, the category is movie. Your vague description is a student uses a powerful device to do her homework, save her friend's pet, and an convict. Come on, JL, speak words like you do every day.
I got this one. But do I need to get the? So I know that it's Harry Potter. Do I have to get the specific movie?
Yes.
It's Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yes, you got it, Coop. You got it. Well done. This is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Avada Kedavra.
Ah!
I
Watch
got him.
Pointing that thing. You
I
killed
pointed it.
Simon.
I pointed it. All right. What's the one that brings him back? Is there even one of those? Wingardium brings
Oh,
Simon
that's
back.
it. It says,
Wingardium brings Simon back. Yosa.
You actually just bring queso into my general vicinity, and I perk right up.
It's-
Wingardium Simon Casioso.
Precioso.
Cheeseums.
Isms.
Lactosium Darionum.
Shit your pants.
Yeah, that's a shit your pants spell.
Not again.
Oh, we backfired.
Not again.
Oh, I lost my lactate.
We got it.
Oh,
Ladies and
no.
gentlemen, we did it.
We did it. Coop, you're tied up now.
Boo.
This is anybody's game. Who started on this one? Who
Coop
started
went
on
Now
this
first.
one?
it's Simon's turn.
Now
Coop
it's
went first,
You're starting
and
this
Coop
one.
went most recently. So that means it's my turn.
All right. Football. Your vague description is a high risk, high reward move.
A high risk, high reward move.
I got 2 guesses for this. Hope Simon guesses one of the 2 and gets it wrong.
Yeah, I feel like there's an obvious one, but I almost don't want to say it because I feel like the obvious one isn't the answer. High risk. Is there a play on words in this? A high risk, high reward move, or is it just what it's saying it is? That's the conundrum I'm having. Like, is there a play on words here, or is it just what it says it is? We will go with what it says it is, and I'm going to say a Hail Mary is a high risk, high reward play.
A Hail Mary
Is incorrect. Yeah, I know.
not much risk.
What? That is a risk.
Not as much risk.
There isn't really that much risk.
I guess usually when you do it, if they miss it, you would have lost anyways.
Okay, I'm going to go with, that was one of the 2 guesses I had. So I'm going to go with a lateral.
A lateral is incorrect.
Okay.
Simon?
Shovel pass.
Lateral's pretty high risk, high reward.
Shovel pass is incorrect.
Damn
Coop?
What's the risk in a shovel pass? It's a forward pass. Sorry. Didn't mean to besmirch your answer. High risk, high reward. Is it going for it on 4th down?
Going for it on 4th down is incorrect.
Can I take one more guess, not for points?
Sure.
No. Yeah, I'm just kidding. You can.
The coin toss?
The coin toss is incorrect.
I thought about that too. My last guess, that's not for points. High risk, high reward is 2-point conversion.
2-point conversion is incorrect, but a great guess. We got some in the chat. Dustin said probably lateral on try. It's Dallas last play of the game.
Ooh, onside kicks.
Scampers signing Kenny Galladay.
Oh man.
Fake punt's a good one. Onside kick from Nick or 4th down try.
What is it, JL?
It's gonna be a word
the
play.
answer is reaching the ball across the goal line.
Boo. What's the?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it is pretty risky because you fumble it through the end zone. It goes to the other team.
Yeah.
Incredibly risky.
Risk, but reward move. Tough one.
That was
Tough one.
That was.
You guys had a lot of.
Yeah, but none of them good enough. I don't need your condescending proud.
Probably is the most high risk, high reward move.
You're right, 100%. Because usually like it's high reward, but maybe not so high risk, or high risk but not so high reward.
That's why I said the thing about the Hail Mary, Simon, is you reach the point where it's like
There is no risk. The risk
anyway,
is
yeah.
The risk is you lose like you were already gonna lose.
It's not risk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of the distinction I was making. But well done, guys. I think that's time for one more round. Try and break this tie.
Yeah, let's get one more round in there.
All right. We're on to Keith prompts, so I'm sorry. If they're bad,
You will.
your next category is TV show. TV show.
Television.
And Coop, you're starting this one. Here's your vague description. Show for kids, now made for adults.
Show for kids, now made for adults. Is this My Little Pony?
This is not My Little Pony.
Simon. Because I think the show made for kids and the show made for adults have different names. If I give either, hypothetically, if that is the case, would either give me the points? So as you're not to give anything away about it, if hypothetically it had 2 different names for the kids show and the adult show.
You can name them both.
Scooby-Doo and Velma.
Scooby-Doo and Velma is correct. Is the word. Is the
Wow.
one we were looking for. But yes, I would accept.
That's
Scooby-Doo /
tricky.
Velma.
That's tricky because Velma, yeah, but they are the same characters.
They are the same
They are.
characters.
Yeah. Have you guys watched any of it yet? Simon,
Just
I know
the-
you have. We watched like the first episode.
Yeah, we watched like the first 10 minutes of the first episode, and
Heard it's pretty.
I tried
divisive.
going in ready to like be all right with it, but was not a big fan of that show. I'm gonna give it a full 2 episodes, I think, to see if it gets any better. But it immediately just tried being meta without even establishing what it was. Like it immediately went into like meta jokes about the show itself. Just thought a little forced.
Dustin guessed Rick and guessed Riverdale. And Hal said Scooby-Doo isn't a kid's show. They're baked always. They are baked always.
Yeah, but there's plausible deniability, which is what you look for in a kid's show.
Just so you know. All right, Coop, your last opportunity here is now 2-1. You can end this game in a tie.
Cool.
Wait, no, Coop started.
Yeah, I started, and that was the last question too. Yeah, we kind of established that was the tiebreaker one.
No, he said another round.
Another round, but I started with Simon.
I went first.
No,
Coop went first
I
in
went
the entire
first, yeah.
game, so I would be the one who closed it.
Yeah, that probably is the end of it. Yeah.
Okay. Simon,
In all fairness,
so Simon, you were starting on this one, your TV show, and your Vegas show with 3 clues.
Blue's Clues.
Blue's Clues is correct, Simon. You are going to secure this victory. Well done.
TV show with clues, and the answer is Blue's Clues. Way to go, Keith. Good job, Keith. We're clapping up for Keith on that one.
We need some clap sounds next.
You did it.
Simon, Keith's questions are like, it's a TV show with a guy named Doug. What's the show?
I'm working grind in the chat saying Keith. Also, Jill, you said you weren't going to read Mr. Scamper's comment, MILF Manor, but I just did have to comment on something before we move on from that. That show on Netflix, we talked about it a little bit already, I think, but where they brought 3 women to an island, older women, and brought in a bunch of 20-something-year-old dudes to date them. Did I tell you guys the most recent update about what this show does? The 3 women's sons are on the island with them. Did I bring that up on the show already?
Sorry.
You brought it up on the show or a person? I can't remember.
They not only have like a bunch of young men here to date the 3 older women, like it's like a show about older women dating younger men. The 3 older women who are the contestants, their sons, without their knowledge, were brought to the island to compete for the love of the other 2 women. Disgusting that they did that. And then they play games where like they blindfold the moms and they have to touch the abs of every single boy there and identify whose is who, including their son. Including their son.
What?
Should be illegal, right?
The best part is like they get together at the end, like they're like friends on the show, but then at the end you have to call the other guy dad.
We went from bros and now you're my dad.
What's the name of that show? That's MILF Island, right?
I forget what the name of it is. I think it's like Back in the Game or something like that on Hulu, but it's very closely related to the 30 Rock running bit of MILF Island. It's basically the same show.
It's actually it sounds more aggressive than MILF Island. MILF Island sounds more acceptable than this show.
Reality's often even stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
Guys, we are going to play some more games coming up shortly. We've got Sell Me This Pen. We're going to play some Quotey McQuote Face as well. And then we're going to get into a segment we call the Moreau You Know, where we teach you a little bit about something. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy with Simon, JL, and Coop.
The Baltimore Ravens and linebacker Roquan Smith have agreed to a record 5-year deal worth $100 million.
The biggest thing I saw from this wasn't even excitement from Ravens fans. It was, oh, shoot. If we're signing him to this big of a deal, how the hell Are we going to sign Lamar to the kind of deal that he wants? Is the general reaction I saw from Ravens fans. So the Ravens fans, and myself included, who thought, of course, they're going to re-sign him. 100% he's getting that deal done. This just crept in that little bit of doubt. Like, that is going to be an insane amount of their cap tied up in 2 players if they do sign Lamar.
Here's an interesting wrinkle to this, is that Lamar Jackson famously does not want to use an agent. His mother is his manager, acting as his agent, so technically not really using a real agent. And Roquan Smith did not use an agent here. So the Ravens at least proved just now it's not the fact that he doesn't have a real agent that's holding this deal, because they just signed a monster contract with a guy that represented himself.
It's baffling as a Ravens fan, just looking at this as an outsider looking in. It's, why are they having so much trouble signing Lamar Jackson? You're gonna have to pay him a top 5 contract, or give him a top 5 contract in the position. And then on top of that, like, you're either waiting for him to get injured or to like get one over on him, which both of those don't really help you in the long run. So it's baffling to me that this is still an issue.
I'm telling you right now, I already said this. Top quarterbacks get $45 to $50 million a year. He's not using an agent, so he's saving that money there. Why don't you just take the 5% you would pay an agent, take the top money, 45, 50 million, whatever it is, subtract that, $2 to $3 million a year from the total. Boom, there you go. Done deal. I just negotiated the whole thing.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. John Luke, you got a little smirk. You doing all right?
Right. Just having a little fun.
He's just excited that the Oscar nominations are now trickling in.
Oh,
yeah, they were.
I hope I get nominated.
Best supporting actor,
best supporting Oscar.
Supporting Oscar.
Oscar nominees for sound are in. I know my pick.
Best handsome Oscar.
Nominees for sound are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: Way of the Water, The Batman, Elvis, and Top Gun: Maverick. Honestly, dude, All Quiet on the Western Front was a crazy movie. It was pretty aggressive, but I could see that one winning for sound. Which we
I haven't
enjoyed
seen
right
a single one of those movies.
You haven't?
I haven't seen a single one.
You definitely got to see Top Gun: Maverick, which is a lot of fun. And All Quiet on the Western Front.
I did want to see that.
All Quiet on the Western Front's a great movie, but you got to be in the right mood for it because it is like a pretty dark themes to it. I haven't seen Avatar or Elvis. The Batman was also visually actually dark, but I enjoyed that as well.
Should we give away our own Oscar awards to guys named Oscar?
Yeah, absolutely.
We host the Oscar
Oscar
awards.
from The Office.
That's one. He's up for contention. Oscar the Grouch, another Oscar that we have to
Oscar
consider.
Mayer.
Exactly where I was going next year. We can't forget about Oscar Mayer. He has his way with BOLOGNA.
What about the Golden Boy boxer?
Oscar?
No, not boxer. Oscar.
Oscar the boxer?
Yeah, there is an Oscar the boxer. Oscar De La Hoya.
Oscar. Oscar the boxer.
Do you guys not know who Oscar De La Hoya is?
I do not.
I've heard the name. Not a big boxing guy.
That was his nickname, the Golden Boy.
Yeah,
Oscar Robinson.
Jessica. Good morning, everyone. Morning, Albert. See you, my friend.
What up, Albert? Welcome in. Tommy said Oscar Robinson. I don't know who Oscar Robinson is. Oscar Robinson is someone that I've never even heard of. So
basketball player.
He can win the Oscar I've never heard of award.
Well, there's the Oscar. It sounds like there's a lot of nominees for that award.
Here's something. I am not good at names, remembering names. It's not my cup of tea. It's not something I'm great at. The amount of stuff Simon doesn't know never stops shocking me. Somehow I feel like I shock people with the things I do know and the things I don't know on a regular basis.
It works on both sides of that.
In Simon's defense, for virtually every person in the world, there's more things we don't know than things we do know.
Very true.
And I fill my brain with things like, I don't know, Mongolian yurt facts.
Which of the Eastern European countries is more likely to have a baguette outbreak?
The classic baguette outbreak.
It's
Yes,
Moldova.
Those are the types of things Simon knows.
For those wondering, it's Moldova.
Well,
It's
clearly,
Moldova, clearly. Yeah.
clearly it's Moldova.
Oscar
Guys,
Wilde.
that's an author?
Yeah.
Oscar Wilde he was Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, the original.
Yeah.
Oscar, my former health insurance company. It was just called Oscar. That was the whole name
Yep.
of the company.
Tony in
Best
the
health
chat.
insurance company locked up.
Tony in the chat dropping a Oscar Pistorius. You guys remember him?
No, but I feel like I remember negative connotations attached to that name.
It was originally very positive and turned negative pretty quickly. He was the Paralympic
The Blade
runner.
Runner.
The Blade Runner.
Oh,
that
yeah.
ended up shooting and killing his girlfriend. So
Yeah, I remember
that's
that.
a wild one.
He went from being like the feel good story of the Olympics, right? Like it was someone that everyone was cheering behind, and then yikes. I don't
Joey
think he's
Wright-
winning any of our Oscar awards.
Joey Wright said Banshees of Inisherin at this point in the award season looks ripe to take actor and, due to preferential balloting, best picture. I love the two actors in that movie because I love the movie In Bruges, which is awesome. So I plan on watching Banshees of Inisherin this evening to celebrate the Oscars being nominated.
Cool.
Pretty exciting. Have you guys seen that one?
No,
No.
believe it or not.
Yeah, it's I believe the best actor nom he's talking about is Colin Farrell is the lead actor in that.
Tony in the chat just gave a vague description of Oscar Pistorius and said no legs and killed a lady. That
Oh,
would
we
be
got
your
that.
Oscar Pistorius vague description.
Yeah, Scott Fish says Banshees was awesome. Wife and I went opening week. Well, first week it was in our theater, so Scott's already seen it in theaters. It's on
Ooh.
Netflix. It's on Netflix though, so widely available. Gonna be checking that out. But people want to talk Oscars, Scott, like actual movies, and you guys are talking about blade running murderers.
Oscar
Hey.
Wieners.
Oscar, he's an important guy. Well, guys, we're about to get into a segment we call Sell Me This Pen, where our contestants are going to be tasked with giving a sales pitch for an NFL player or anything really. Your fellow contestants are going to give you your prompt. JL may make the decision for you, Coop. I might make the decision for JL, but we're all going to be selling something here.
That is
Very
true. All right. Let's get into it, guys. Simon, you're going to go first on this one since Coop went first on the last game that we played.
It's only fair.
Sell me on firing Keith.
You've watched the show.
Yeah.
There it is.
You've been a part of this show for what is it now? 106 episodes.
Yeah.
Every day we come in here and not a single one of us has been fired yet. How do the three of us get on here every single day? And there's a producer who has allowed the three of us to appear on this show 106 times without thinking maybe we need to change something. Keith is the one who hasn't made the recommendations for those changes. And his name isn't even Keith. He goes by Keith. How are you going to have a guy on a show that you want to be taken seriously who's unwilling to move the talent away from the show named Keith? I rest my case.
Wow. Make some very compelling points.
It's the lack of firing us that means Keith should get fired. We need someone in here who's willing to
Can't
fire us.
Somebody step up and do the right thing here.
Exactly.
Keith is our boss. But I like the point about letting us come on the show, make fools of ourselves for 106 episodes.
It's unforgivable.
It's unforgivable, and I am taking your advice in consideration, Simon.
I do have one more reason why Keith should probably be fired.
Tell me.
In his home, he keeps his milk in the pantry. Keith does not keep his milk refrigerated in the fridge. He went to Europe one time and saw that they had these walk-in underground closets where they could keep their milk, but that's because it stayed cold down there, Keith. You can't just throw it in your pantry. You can't just take your bottle of milk from Walmart and throw it in your pantry. That's disgusting. And it's
Is
a
that
true
true?
offense.
Is that true?
100% true. Keith keeps his milk in his pantry.
That's
Like,
just,
there are ultra pasteurized milks like Fairlife that you can technically not have refrigerated, but like, why would you not want your milk to be cold, bro? Like, what's the matter with you?
This is great value blue cap milk is what he's got going on.
What are you doing, dude?
Unpasteurized raw milk.
Get your act together.
All right, Coop. You're next.
Cool.
Coop, sell me on not Keith.
Well, here's the beautiful thing about keeping Keith on board is that we can screw up all we want on this show, and all we have to do is blame Keith. Right? At any given point, you could have, during the last segment, if it was a bad question, just said, Keith came up with that one. Right? And then if it's a good question, you say that one was from Tony, which we like that one. Or it's from Earn Dog. We love Earn Dog. We love Tony. Those guys are great. Keith, he's that excellent punching bag that when you get upset at a bad day at work, you come home, punch the pillow. That's Keith, man. And you got to keep that around, dude.
Keep
right?
your
You
punching.
the Keith your punch. I mean, if they ever, fix the setup to the point where Keith could come on and speak, or potentially come on and be on video, we would have to fire him, because then we wouldn't be able to just blame things on him. He would be able to defend himself, which would be
Absolutely not. He's not allowed.
That would be terrible, right? That'd be terrible. So I think we need to keep him around specifically as the fall guy for the many, many miscues on this show. So you got to have that guy. Even Chris Carter said it in the NFL. He said you got to have that fall guy in your crew to take the blame when things go wrong. That's Keith, man. That's Keith. So we got to keep him around. It's like you say something weird or do something wrong, you can just turn around and be like, oh yeah, well, Keith keeps his milk in the closet. You know what I mean? Like you just throw him right under the bus.
You have something in your back pocket to use.
Well, Keith, exactly. Like Keith sits there in the dark because he can't afford light bulbs. It's like you can. Keith wears his underwear like a shirt. He doesn't wear pants. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things you can use. He's just a useful part of the show. So you got to keep him around, man.
Coop, you convinced me. Sorry, Simon.
Shoot.
We're keeping Keith for now.
Gotta keep him, dude. Gotta keep him.
Coop, you kind of convinced me. A fall guy's a useful guy. You need a fall guy.
Gotta have him, man.
Need a fall guy. All right, Simon.
Speaking of Fall Guys, Best Supporting Actor nominations just dropped. Brendan Gleeson in The Banshees of Inisherin. I mean, dude, a lot of noms for them. Brian Tyree Henry in Causeway. Didn't see that. Judge Hirsch in The Fablemans. Barry Keoghan also in The Banshees of Inisherin. And then Ke Huy Quan in Everything Everywhere All at Once. So 2 supporting actor noms for The Banshees of Inisherin. My goodness.
I think I played that level in Halo, Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah.
Ke Huy Quan was phenomenal in Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's the only one I have seen out of everything.
Oh, you have seen that
so
one?
Far. Yeah,
I've heard
seen it
twice.
Great
things.
I watched it and then I watched it again in the same week because it was unbelievable. It was so good.
You're a big multi-movie watcher, huh? Like you've seen.
I like the comfort
in multiple at one time.
Yeah, Scott Fitzgerald Quan was awesome and should win everything for everything.
I haven't seen the other ones, but
yeah. So
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Speaking of that one, how Banshees of Inisherin had 2 noms for Best Supporting Actor. Everything Everywhere All at Once had 2 noms for Best Supporting Actress. Jamie Lee Curtis and Stephanie. I don't want to butcher her name, but it's spelled HSU. I think it's Sue. So 2 noms for that movie over there. It's also you have Carrie Condon from The Banshees of Inisherin. Hong Chow from The Whale. Have you guys seen The Whale? Not seen the movie, but have you seen the premise?
No, I haven't looked into it because I don't like look before I watch like a Darren Aronofsky film. So I try to stay away from it as much as I can.
I do the same. So I haven't really seen the full premise, but I know it's Brendan Fraser, and he's been getting rave reviews. And then the last Best Supporting Actress nominee is Angela Bassett in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Angela Bassett's awesome. She's just
I love her.
She's great in everything. You know what I mean? Like, even if that movie was terrible, she'd probably still get a nom for Best Supporting Actress.
Even not the 911, which Maria and I watch all the time. It's a terrible TV show. She shines.
Crushes. Yeah.
She's in season 3 of American Horror Story.
So
right?
good, yeah.
And she's just absolutely
the Louisiana one.
Yeah, in Coven. Yeah, she kills it in Coven. She makes that whole season.
Yeah,
fantastic.
So that's where I'll give you one more. Well, so they're still trickling in. Best original screenplay is a big award.
Screenplay.
Screenplay at the ballet. So Banshees of Inisherin also nominated for that. They are
We get it,
absolutely
Banshees. You're a good
raking
movie.
in the noms. Everywhere All at Once. That one's by A24. A24.
What about Everything Everywhere
Genius
All at
Crush.
Once?
What did I say?
Everywhere All at Once?
I said Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, I thought you forgot the Everything, and I was like, that's a different movie.
We'll have to run the tape back. But anyway, The Fabelmans, Universal Pictures, Tar, Focus Features, and The Triangle of Sadness, Neon. So
I want to avoid.
You're just naming things. Yeah. Me
but
too.
Banshees and Everything Everywhere All at Once are raking in the nominations here. Gonna be pretty wild. But yeah, that's what we have for the big ones. Still yet to be announced are Best Picture, Best Director, Lead Actress, Lead Actor. So we've got some big ones yet to announce. Maybe we'll announce those on this show since it's live and it's cool. But why don't we move on? Why don't we get back to our current segment?
All right. Let's see. It's Coop and now it's Simon. We're back, Simon. All right, Simon, sell me on trading dice.
That's the easy one.
Yeah. So I need to sell you on trading him away or on not trading him away?
Trading him away.
Okay. See, because I thought you asked the other side, which have been a real challenge. On this side, this is an easy sell to make. Unfortunately, the dynasty community is ageist. They are not a fan of aging players in this league. And every year, the threshold for where they're comfortable with goes down and down and down. They get excited about the new shiny toys, about the guys named Breece Hall, about Kenneth Walker, about the guys coming out this year, about one Mr. Bijan Robinson. And Jonathan Taylor suddenly, ever so quickly, even though he's only 24 years old, is going to join the tier of Saquon Barkley in Dynasty, Aaron Jones in Dynasty. And this, right now, before this season, is your last opportunity to get out before people start devaluing him based on age. He's still going to be phenomenal for fantasy, don't get me wrong. But you're also looking at a Colts team where the line isn't as strong as it has been. What the hell are they doing with the quarterback situation there? You don't even know who's going to be the starting quarterback for them next year. So the next 2 years, Jonathan Taylor's potential last 2 years of his prime are going to be spent on an unbelievably struggling and lost Indianapolis Colts team. And that's while his value is already declining because of age. Trade him now. You're still going to be able to get a first for Jonathan Taylor at the end of this season. After next year, when the Colts are struggling, he's another year older, 25 going on 26. Good luck.
I like that, Simon. I like that. You believe that? I know you just had to sell it regardless of what you believe, but trading away Jonathan Taylor?
From a value standpoint, I think this might be the best time to trade Jonathan Taylor. Now, from a fantasy football standpoint, sometimes it makes more sense for your team just to keep the player on there, even if their value's high. Like Travis Kelce is likely just going to retire on most of my dynasty teams. I'm not trying to play that game of guessing when he's going to decline. His value to me on my team as that tight end is more valuable than what I would get pushing him away. And I think Jonathan Taylor might be in a similar tier for me. But with running backs, it is a little bit easier, and their value changes so quickly. Like they go from being the most valuable asset in Dynasty to being, 24, 25, 26 pretty quickly. They hit that cliff age-wise where people start ranking worse players that are younger ahead of them.
Yeah. What do you feel about Jonathan Taylor and Dynasty? You buy in what Simon's selling?
I'm on board with that, man. Like if you can get like top return for him, there's a lot of risk that goes around this guy, and I would especially be looking to move it. I would especially be interested in moving him if it was full PPR, just because we haven't really seen him flash that ability to have like 60, 70, 80 receptions, which is when you have these like, there's a difference between being the top running back in fantasy and being a game-changing running back. And the difference usually boils down to these guys that are getting like crazy numbers of receptions. That's how you have the guys that are just head and shoulders better than everybody else. The Todd Gurley season where he scores 400 fantasy points. The LaDainian Tomlinson season. So if people are willing to pay a king's ransom to just be like, oh, I am the very best guy, to go ahead and do it in full PPR. But in half or standard, in general, I'm probably hanging on to him. But Simon made a lot of great points about the uncertainty surrounding this player.
Yeah. You guys. All right. Well done. You.
Go.
Coop. Big Texan head coaching job.
Being the head coach of the Texans. So here's the beautiful thing about being the head coach of the Houston Texans. It's especially in a situation where they've fired their last two head coaches within the last 2 years. So they've hired a head coach, fired him, had a head coach, fired him. Is that when you have an owner like Bob McNair that is clearly incompetent and by many accounts potentially racist, you can you can enjoy this job for 1 year, get paid, get being a head coach on your resume, and then they'll probably find some trumped up reason to fire you. And then everyone will realize that it's not your fault and you'll get another shot somewhere else. So you can slap that head coach on your resume where in most cases, in a lot of cases, you might not be able to be a head coach somewhere. So you jump right in there, get that opportunity to lead a team, and then you get to escape one of the worst franchises in the league since their inception. So I think it's a good thing to have on your resume. I mean, Bill O'Brien got a chance to do it. Now look at him. He's back working. He worked for Alabama, the most prestigious school in college football. And now he's back coaching for the most prestigious team in the NFL, the New England Patriots. So it's a great resume pattern to be the head coach for the Texans during whatever brief 4-12, 4-13 now season that they would probably enjoy.
Ooh, I like that. And I agree with you. Get the and then get out.
Get in and get out. Go fancy dinners, right? And then whenever somebody is going to hire you to be the offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator next year, you get some more fancy dinners. A lot of dinners.
And they got $41 million in cap space going into this offseason. You could go on a little shopping spree and have some fun on this team as well. You got a blank canvas to work with. You got Dameon Pierce and that's it.
Yeah, assuming
Right.
Nick Caserio lets you have a say in how that money's spent.
Right. You can convince him. Bill O'Brien was able to convince McNair to just let him have full reign of the team. I think you could convince maybe one or two players that you get to choose that come on over.
Yeah, I bet you would have some say.
All right, well done, Coop. Simon, we're back to you.
Yeah.
All right, Simon. Tell me on why Velma is the greatest show ever made.
Just seeing 10 minutes of it. I've seen 0 minutes of it.
As someone who's watched every episode of Velma that's ever been released, every last second of it, intently while taking notes, I am here today to tell you that this is the greatest television show ever released. What people are missing is the deeper message that Mindy Kaling is trying to tell through this story. And the message that she's trying to sell or tell to everybody is a message about how the modern desire to take things that people love and just turn it into a cash generating flow for these large corporations is destroying the things we love, like Scooby-Doo. Every decision in that show was made to prove the point that this was a greed grab by HBO to try and capitalize on the nostalgia of their viewers without any respect for what they originally loved. And Mindy Kaling not only took the project knowing that that was the case, she made it a point to prove to the world that this is bad for society at whole. The revamping of these shows with no regard for the viewers, the only regard being for the creators themselves. It's an art piece. It's a statement piece is what Velma is. And while watching it may not be enjoyable, the message that it sends is a powerful message that puts it among the greatest shows ever created, if not at the very top.
So the art is the hate that it's getting. It's the reaction that it's getting.
It's like performance art. The art is happening while we watch right now. You look around, you see the people tweeting about it. That's the art.
That's the art. That's the whole point. Wow, that you did it, Simon. Well done. You convinced me. Greatest show ever made.
Which is impressive because the reviews of that show have been overwhelmingly negative, and from what I've seen,
they've been pretty bad. But that's the art. That third lowest rated show on IBM of all time, or IMDb, not on IBM.
IBM.
On IMDb is part of the performance that Mindy Kaling has put on. Really, honestly, her magnum opus. I almost said her Oedipus Rex, but that's the wrong word. Well, guys, coming up. Yeah, we got timer. Is that our last Sell Me This Pen we got right here?
That's the last one. Well done, boys.
I sold you on Velma. We're calling it there. Coming up, we've got some Quotey McQuote face, and then we're going to get into a segment called the Moreau You Know, where we teach you a little something we've learned recently. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Better Sports Network is sponsored by Lucra.
Okay, it is now time for our Lucra app contest of the day. Obviously, we have been telling you about Lucra throughout the last couple of weeks here on the Better Sports Network. What we're talking about is an app that you can download. You sign up, you registered. I was looking at it today because I'm in Missouri, and it's like, well, Missouri doesn't have legalized, excitement of wagering, betting, all that. But you can do Lucra. And the reason you can do it is it's a contest. You challenge a friend, you challenge a buddy, family member, whoever it is, and you can look at that day's events and you can kind of say, okay, I'm going to take this side of the coin. Do you want to take this side? Most points scored or most yards thrown for, whatever you want to do. You can create these contests. Money is put up. Right now, when you sign up, you download the Lucra app, you sign up, you register. Use the promo code BSN. And they will throw in a free $5 for you to get rolling. So get that app, use the promo code BSN. You're good to go. Challenge your friends, your family, enemies, whoever you want to challenge, you can do it. Ray and I are challenging each other in our own little contest. And we'll do this throughout the week where we'll kind of say, I'll take this side, you take that side. We are looking specifically, Ray, today at the Cincinnati and Buffalo game. This will be the first game on Sunday. Right now, the money line has Buffalo minus 225, and Cincinnati is at plus 190. So I send you the contest. It pops up in the Lucra app. People will see, oh, so-and-so wants to challenge me. Let's see what he's wanting to play for. So, Ray, we're doing a challenge on the pick'em, the money line here to win straight up. Buffalo, Cincinnati, what side do you have?
I'm taking the side where I'm going to win, and I'm not going to get any money for it. I'm going to take the Bills. It's a tough matchup, right? And there's absolutely a path to success here for the Bengals. I just looked at the Bengals last week, and you mentioned this yesterday. Yeah, like they didn't look sharp. And again, the game flow and the way it went, and okay, but they didn't do much in the second half. They didn't have the ball, but they didn't do much in the second half. They've had a hard time establishing the run of late. More importantly, they've lost multiple offensive linemen. So now there's all kinds of concern, which is the area that they work to strengthen on. We all were excited about the offensive line coming into the season. The season started, the offensive line wasn't very good. We also, what the hell? They finally figured it out, got rolling. Now the guys are falling away with injury. There are concerns with the Bills that I have expressed with you for weeks now, months now, even with the offense. But it's a home game for the Bills. I think that they're going to pose some problems for the Bengals. And I think that they'll win, but that money line would not make me excited about betting that one specifically, but using Lucra and getting able to play against you, I'm in.
That is our Lucra app contest of the day. Ray's taking the Buffalo side straight up. I'm going with Cincinnati. We'll continue to hit you with some Lucra app contest as we go through the week. And again, reminder, head over to your favorite app store, download it now. Lucra, by the way, is how you spell that.
Better Sports Network is sponsored by Lucra. Winning is fun, and beating your friends is even better. Download the Lucra app today to challenge your friends and win money.
Oi! What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. It's in the game. Beans. I knew there were beans coming.
I don't know when it switched to that, but I can't think of anything different now. Like
I had beans for dinner last night.
Beans.
I had bean and cheese burritos for dinner last night, and they were delicious. The beans were big, though. I wasn't used to such chunky beans in my burrito. I'm used to like smushier beans. They were like some honking beans. We're talking like half-inch long beans in that burrito. I had to chew them.
That's pretty aggressive, dude.
Usually you can just swallow your beans like pills. But those you had to take a munch at.
Usually I munch my food.
Guys, we are about to get into a game that we call Quotey McQuote Face. This is a game where our contestants are going to be presented with an anonymous quote. Their job is going to be to tell us who said it and why. Give us the context and the person who said it. And if you do that, you're going to get 2 points, 1 point for each of those categories. Get either of them wrong, though, and your opponent will have an opportunity to steal either point. We'll go back and forth, alternating who's going first, and whoever has the most points at the end is our winner. And I believe, JL, you got some quotes for us today, right?
I do.
Yeehaw! Before
Yeehaw.
we get into our game, though, I think we got a movie-loving friend here to come up for a minute to talk a little bit about the Oscar nominations that are coming out right now. Coop, happy birthday.
Yeah. Yes. We get our movie expert in the house.
Sorry, our film expert. Film expert Joey Wright joining the show. What's up, Joey?
What's going on, guys? Let me turn my air conditioning off because it's a little loud. There we go. I'll sweat for you guys. Hey, so yeah, Coop texted me. He's like, "Hey man, Oscar noms," and I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I'm there. So for me, when I see the Oscar nominations, there's one category I look at, and it's best editing. And I'm not being funny because in Oscar history, few films have won Best Picture if they're not nominated for Best Editing. Best Editing is Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which led nominations with 11, Tar, and Top Gun Maverick. If I were a betting man, since we are on Better Sports Network, I would put my money on any of those five. Everything Everywhere All at Once has been a darling this entire award season. It very well could win Best Picture. If I have to put my money on something, it's Banshees because of preferential balloting. Preferential balloting, basically, if a film does not get at least 50% of the Best Picture nomination votes to be Best Picture, it goes to what is everyone's second place vote. The bottom movie gets removed. Whatever the ninth movie is in the rankings gets taken out. It's called preferential balloting. And that's why you saw something like Coda, Parasite, Nomadland, movies that people like generally loved, but maybe weren't someone's one. They might have been like their 2 or 3 win Best Picture. Everyone loves Banshees of Inisherin this year. Colin Farrell is campaigning his butt off right now. He's going to every party. He's shaking every hand for Banshees and for himself. And I think he's a little overdue. Okay, I'm done.
I love that was great, dude. And can I ask you one question here? There's a movie that seems to be getting a lot of nominations that was not on my radar at all. Have you seen the movie Tar? And
Tar was my second favorite film of the year.
Really?
It's Todd Fields, the director. Kate Blanchett gives the best performance she's ever given in a film. It is haunting. It's you just kind of have to see it to believe it. I've said that it's the closest film I've seen to Eyes Wide Shut if you took all the sex out of Eyes Wide Shut.
Okay.
It's very mysterious, and Kate Blanchett's amazing.
It's a potential dark horse for Best Picture.
Yeah, there's a film podcast that I listen to. The Best Picture, I believe Scott Fish listens to it as well. There's a hive out there for Tar. While I loved the film, I think something like Everything All at Once or Banshees of Inisherin is going to win Best Picture just because people love it. And you know what else movie people loved? Elvis. A lot of people loved Elvis.
I need to watch all these movies because right now I feel like just vehemently defending Everything Everywhere All at Once as the clear winner, but I've seen none of the other movies. I've just seen that one and loved it so much.
It's a great film. Ratatouille was like a thing with FYF for a while there for a couple months.
Last one before we let you go. Avatar: Way of Water being nominated for Best Picture. Is that a joke or what's going on here?
No. So here's the thing. The first Avatar had a lot of run. It could win Best Picture, but like I mentioned earlier, the category I look for most is Best Editing. Avatar did not get a Best Editing nomination. Maybe because it was 3 hours and 45 minutes, but that's not actually what editing is.
Yeah.
But
the editing noms are pretty chalk. Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, and Top Gun Maverick. So,
yeah. And hey, listen, this could be, let's just make people happy and give it to Top Gun Maverick. Because if you went to a movie theater this summer and you saw Top Gun, you came out a happy person. My wife doesn't like action movies, and she was like, "That was incredible." So I'm excited for Oscar night. I always am. I wear a tuxedo every year. That's not true. Maybe I will this year. Yeah,
Awesome. Maybe we'll have you back on to talk movies right before the Oscars so we can get some last minute bets in. But as of now, just to reiterate before we let you go, if you're going to put money on anything, you're looking at Banshees.
I really am. Everything I've seen coming out of it and the way that they're campaigning for Banshees and Martin McDonough, like, let's just get him as many Academy Awards as possible.
Oh, love it.
Except for directing, which let's go. Rupert Ostland for Triangle of Sadness. Let's get something weird. All right. I'm done.
Get him in there.
Dude. All right, Joey.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye. Thank you for letting me come on. Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good one, my friend. Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna watch the movies this year. The Best Picture nominations, I'm going to watch all of them. I say that every year, and then I always watch like 2 of them and then get upset when one of those 2 doesn't win. This year, I'm going to watch all of them.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it too. I've watched a couple. I've watched Top Gun Maverick. I've watched All Quiet on the Western Front, but some of these I actually had never heard of. Women Talking, I've never heard of. Triangle of Sadness, I've never heard of. So I got to get in there and check them out, dude. But I really enjoy the Oscar season. Thank you, boys, for letting Joey come on and talk a little Oscars with us.
We're doing
Oscars,
it. It's what's going on right
De
now.
La Hoyas.
The De La Hoyas, man, the Golden Boys. I wonder who's going to be this year's Golden Boy.
Probably Mr. Quotey McQuote face.
Probably. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
All right. Did you already describe the rules, Simon?
I described the rules.
All right. Cool. Let's see. Simon, you went first in the last one.
Yeah, but it wasn't a game you could win.
It wasn't a game you could win. So I will let you go first in this one.
Yes.
Not that it really matters. Equal number of prompts.
All
right, Simon. Here is your first quote. Here's your first quote. Best player. Patrick Mahomes, best player. He's the most talented player in the NFL. He's the most dynamic weapon. Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in football when it comes to quarterbacking. Simon, who said this and what are they talking about?
Well, what are they talking about? I think they're talking about how Joe Burrow's the best quarterback in the NFL in direct comparison to Patrick Mahomes. So there's your context. And now, who would be saying this? I can't imagine it's like a head coach coming out here and kind of like disparaging Patrick Mahomes like that. Know what I mean? Like giving a direct player-to-player comparison of 2 players not on your team doesn't seem like something most head coaches out here would do. Is it a player? Is this someone who plays against them? Maybe this is someone who played against Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow recently on the other side of the ball. Maybe this is someone on the Bills who thinks that Joe Burrow is the best quarterback, but the Bills seemed a little salty, so I don't think they would say that right away. Maybe it's, man, this is tough. I'm going to go with this was Skip Bayless talking about how Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the NFL, even though Patrick Mahomes is the best player.
You're going with Squid Bayless. You're going with Skip Bayless.
Squid Bayless.
Squid Bayless.
That's a dead squid without a bay.
That's true. Are squids in the bay?
No. They're in the water.
That's true. Well, the answer to this one, Simon, on half of this.
The context, right?
Which was clearly given in the quote. Coop, you have an opportunity to steal.
So I can only get the point for who said it because Simon correctly identified that it was someone talking about Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. Can I get the quote one more time?
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes, best player. Most talented player in the NFL, and he's the most dynamic weapon. Joe Burrow's the best quarterback in football when it comes to quarterbacking.
Wow. So Simon really did the difficult and heavy lifting work of figuring out who that quote was about.
Yeah,
you're welcome. I got to just figure out who said it. So here's my thought process on this. If it was a Chiefs player, they would just say that Patrick Mahomes is the best. Or as a Chiefs coach or player, there's no reason to come back and say that Joe Burrow is better at quarterbacking than Patrick Mahomes. They probably just believe Patrick Mahomes is outright better. This to me sounds like someone around the Chiefs, around the Bengals organization saying,
Yeah, you're probably right.
you know, saying, okay, I'll go ahead and throw kudos to Patrick Mahomes as being the best, you know, overall playmaker. But this guy, my guy, he's the best at quarterbacking. So I want to say it's either a coach or player for the Bengals. I'm going to go. We already have a bunch of quotes from Jamar Chase. Maybe it was another. Maybe Jamar Chase is saying a lot this week. But I'm going to go ahead and say that this would be Hayden Hurst.
Hayden Hurst. Bonk. This is not Hayden
If it's
Hurst.
Jamar Chase and this was just like the next part of that quote,
Could
you know what
be.
I mean? Like he just like kept going.
He does say a lot.
Simon, you want to say another shot?
Jamar Chase.
Chase is incorrect. Bonk.
I just had to take that shot that it was part of the same quote about Joe Burrow.
I would have taken the same shot, yeah. Because I mean, they seem to be asking Jamar Chase quite a bit. I'll be very annoyed if this is T. Higgins, but I will now say that it is Zach Taylor, the Bengals coach, saying that.
Zach Taylor is incorrect. Incorrect. And
Chidobe
Nick
Obuzie.
Shaq is Chase. The real answer, Stan Orlovsky.
Dan Orlovsky.
Dan Orlovsky.
So you were on the right track in the very beginning, Simon, that it was a third party.
Yeah. Because I kept going through the players and like the different situations, and I just couldn't create the situation where it was a player or a coach in my head. I was like, this sounds like it's coming from a third party. This is coming from outside.
How do you guys feel about Dan Orlovsky? You like him as an analyst?
Neutral.
Yeah.
Neutral.
Yeah. I think he's pretty good. I actually saw him in a bar near Fenway Park before getting all these UConn fans fired up in the bar. Like they had a microphone and stuff. It was actually pretty cool. But yeah, I like Orlovsky. He's a good guy.
I like quarterbacks who announce. I like, you know what I mean? It is fun to have someone who has years of experience in the NFL then come over to announcing.
Yep.
Right. All right.
RG3 killing it.
The next one is yours. Here's your quote. To go into Philly, which is a fantastic act. I know how much the fans love all the fans. It's going to be cold and violent. It's going to be a blast. Coop, who said this and what are they talking about?
So I think the context of this quote is the context of this quote is the 49ers have to go and play the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia this week. So that's what I believe the context is. And the person that's discussing this context is talking about I feel like coaches don't usually talk about the weather. Maybe it is a coach. My guess is that this is this Christian McCaffrey?
McCaffrey is incorrect. Simon. But sorry, Coop, you were correct on the context. You were correct on the context for this one, but the opportunity to steal your points. Speaking correct, who said it? Simon? What do you think?
I could see the goofy ass grin on this player's face as they said people in Philadelphia love the opposing team. You know what I mean? Everything here is said snidely with sarcasm. This is George Kittle being a goofster talking about going into Philadelphia. Like a guy who's going to love getting booed and say, this is so much fun. Like that's George Kittle. He's always having fun.
That was actually my first thought. I should have gone with it. But is that it?
George Kittle is correct, Simon. Well done. Can they get you another point?
Good job.
I was going to be shocked if it wasn't. Like I didn't know the quote, but just saying like, oh man, I can't wait to play in Philly. That sounds like something somebody like loves football is going to say.
Sounds like a Kittle. Yeah. Kittle being a bit of a goofster, a gaffster.
All right. Well done, Simon. That's going to get you a point. And Coop, you got a point on that one as well. Good job.
Very cool.
Good job.
Very difficult point for me to get, but I managed to pull it out.
You did. Simon, you're going first in the second one. I was kind of craving Pizza Hut, stuffed crust pizza. I haven't had that in a while. That's not something I get. So we had. Simon, who said this and what are they talking about?
You said, I was kind of craving Pizza Hut. Stuffed crust pizza. That's what I was
haven't had that
craving.
in a while. That's not something I get to get home. So
So here's what I'm thinking. This may be big brain in it. I'm thinking this is coming from someone who's on a team that comes from a place that is generally known for good pizza. And that's why they don't eat Pizza Hut very often, because why the hell would they eat Pizza Hut when they got like a high quality pizza shop right on the corner? So they don't have Pizza Hut very often, but now they're out of town, maybe on the road for a playoff game, and there's some pizza around that's not high quality, but Pizza Hut, they got a hankering. They saw that commercial and they're like, ooh, I can't order this at home, but I can order this on the road. And so they went and they got some Pizza Hut stuffed crust pizza. That's my thought process. Now I just got to pin a player to that thought process. So Buffalo's in the state of New York, but they also lost and were at home and didn't leave. The Giants made the playoffs. They're from New Jersey, but you get some good New Jersey pizza. The pizza shop in Clemson was New Jersey style pizza. I'm going to roll Craven stuffed crust. They got
that is pizza. New York is the pizza capital. I'm from Boston, so my first thought is always, I hate New York, but I will admit that the two things they do better than anybody else. They do a lot of things better than anybody else, but pizza and bagels are the two things that New York
so
is
good.
They're the best of those two things. There's no question.
I don't think Daniel Jones is capable of wanting. Like, I don't think his thoughts go that deep to have desires. I think he just exists. So I'm not sure this is him. Seems like too many fleshed out desires to want stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut. Like at most, you'd be like, I need food from Daniel Jones.
Cool.
So I'm gonna go with Brian Dable. I'm gonna switch it up and say this is a coach, and that Dable wanted some stuffed crust pizza. Hadn't had it in a while, and grabbed some. He used to eat it when he was up in Buffalo. Doesn't eat it so much down here in New Jersey, and now he wanted some whenever he was on the road against the Eagles.
Brian Dable. Sorry, what was the context again?
Maybe not against the Eagles. That might be too specific. Brian Dable, while on the road for a playoff game, they had 2 playoff games, ordered Pizza Hut pizza because he was craving it.
Simon, Brian Dable ordering some pizza on the road for during their playoff games is incorrect on both.
Yeah, it was a shot in the dark.
You have the opportunity. Both points.
Who said this? Getting pizza on the road is not the
for
context.
A playoff game. That was the specifics. I said they were on the road for a playoff game and they got pizza.
So I was going to say that this would be the Bengals on the road for a playoff, because I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, if you're talking about pizza, that means your team won. If your team lost, you're probably not doing a lot of talking about pizza. I mean, maybe you are, but typically the pizza talk is reserved for the winners, right? So I was thinking that only one road team won. That was the Bengals. So I'm thinking the Bengals, they're in Buffalo and they're like, oh, we got pizza. But if the context is not a team on the road getting pizza, then it has to be a home team. So
something entirely different, like a coach out of town for a head coaching job.
That leaves the Chiefs, Eagles, and 49ers. And if I'm going to pick a coach or player to talk about food from one of these teams, there's a name that obviously jumps out, which is Andy Reid. I mean, he immediately started talking about bratwurst when they talked about playing in Germany. So I'm going to say that Andy Reid is talking about getting pizza after beating the Jaguars. And when he's talking about at home, my guess would have to be that they don't eat pizza in the Reid house very often. So give me Andy Reid.
Andy Reid talking for me the more time, Coop.
He's talking about
getting pizza.
That they got Pizza Hut after the game versus the Jaguars.
After the game versus Jaguars. That is incorrect. Incorrect. Simon, take another shot?
Yeah, I'll take one more shot. This is clearly Cliff Kingsbury. Someone called him up, and he's actually doesn't have a very adventurous palate, and he's over there in Thailand, and he got very hungry after 4 days whenever he wouldn't eat seafood. And so he ordered some Pizza Hut. He found the one Pizza Hut in Bangkok and went and ordered some Pizza Hut.
That is an excellent guess. Correct.
Damn it.
Coop?
Does it have to be about football? That's the thing. It could be just any old dude out doing whatever he does. I'm gonna say this is something that no, I'll stick with football. Let's say this was Mike Shanahan getting pizza after beating the Cowboys. I'm sorry, not Mike Shanahan. Kyle
Again?
Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan getting pizza.
Kyle Shanahan getting pizza. Past weekend's playoff game is incorrect. This was Eagles coach Nick Sirianni talking while watching wild card games.
Oh, so
that makes sense.
It wasn't from this week. Okay.
It was I'm on bye week brag is what it was. It was the humble brag that like I'm just at home enjoying Pizza Hut stuffed crust pizza while you guys are out there playing.
That is smart. I was a 50-50 between Shanahan and Sirianni, but I would not have got the context. I wouldn't have gone back to wild card weekend. But
yeah, that was a tough one. Nick and you said Andy Reid took a break from burgers. It's a good guess. Yes. That one. We got 2 more quotes to get to, guys. There's an opportunity.
Yep. Let's do
There's
it.
an opportunity. Currently, Simon, you are in the lead 2-1. 2-1. Let's see. Who did that one? Right. So going first?
Coop's up.
All right, Coop. Here's your quote. I don't think so. I think he gets the extra going. I believe so. But still, same as last week, I'd be very surprised if he's out there this week. Coop said this, and what are they talking about?
You'd be surprised if he is out there? Can I hear it one more time? It was kind of chopping on my phone.
Yeah.
I think so. I think he gets the extra hour to see how things are going. I believe so. But still, same as last week, I'd be very he's out there this week.
Be very surprised if he's out there this week. All right. So, yeah, I was getting some robot voice there. I'm going to say that this is Kyle Shanahan talking about the availability of quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo for this week.
Coop, you want Kyle Shanahan talking about the availability of Jimmy Garoppolo this week? Is my voice any less robot-y?
No, it is not, Mr. Robot.
We're going to get 2 points on this one, Coop. Well done. And now you guys can stall.
And I correctly said Kyle Shanahan instead of Mike Shanahan, which
I'm really proud of you, Coop.
There's no points in the game, but that's a personal point.
Well, JL was visiting here. We drove back and forth from Austin a couple times, and there's a town in between San Antonio and Austin just named Kyle. And JL thought it was funny. Every time we drove past the sign that just says Kyle.
Kyle.
Welcome to Kyle.
Welcome to Kyle. How's it?
Texas has cities like that, just with like a person's name. There's Katy. You can live in Katy, Texas.
I've actually heard of Katy, Texas. Is Katy, Texas big? Because I feel like I've heard of that multiple.
It's a pretty big city. I mean, it's not like Houston, but like it's pretty big. Know what I mean?
Biggest Kyle.
Not biggest Kyle, dude. Who wins the fight, Katy, Texas, or Kyle, Texas?
Katy, Texas. Yeah. Katy fights dirty. Kyle just doesn't know what he's getting into.
Poor Kyle.
Kyle just shows up like, hey, what are we doing? And Katie's like, we're fighting.
We are so fighting.
We are so.
But then she wins.
Every time.
Eat it, Kyle.
Suck it. All right, Coop, you are ahead 3-2. Is my robot gone?
We'll find out. I can't tell because it was a minor robot.
Minor robot. There's no minors allowed on this show. All right, Simon. I think this is yours.
Indeed, it is.
All right, here's your additional value. We'll get into how we want to build this team and allocate our resources. That's what it comes down to. Again, he's a good football player. He was this year. He played well. And again, he's a guy that we would like to have back.
Can you give it to me one more time? Can you give it to me one more time?
Again, the positional value, we'll get into how we want to build this team and allocate our resources. That's what it comes down to. Football player. He was door for us this year. well, and he's a guy that we want to have back.
He's a durable. He was durable for us this year. What position do you describe as durable? Maybe the running back position? I'm going to go with this is Mr. Eberflus talking about bringing David Montgomery back to the Chicago Bears as a durable running back. I know he's a free agent. They want to bring him back. They've talked about that publicly. And I'm going to say this is about David Montgomery, the running back, re-signing with the Chicago Bears, and it was said by Matt Eberflus.
The Flus is loose.
Of the Chicago Bears, you're going with Eberflus talking about re-signing David Montgomery, and is incorrect.
Damn it, I felt good about that one.
I wonder if it was because I think you're right that if they're talking about a running back, and I have a couple in mind. I wonder if you had phrased it like, I think the context is a coach talking about a running back, and then you jumped over to the specifics. If you could have wrangled a point out of that.
I'm not trying to wrangle points. I'm trying to earn points.
I'll try to wrangle points. I think so. I think the context here is a coach talking about a running back.
I think Lays playing out and then just does it.
My evil plan. Yeah, that's how you don't get points. That's how Jail's gonna be like, I'm not giving you points for that. And I think that there's a couple options. I'm not gonna say them out loud in case we go to another round to see if we can figure out. But I think that this would be so. The reason the word durable is used is because I think this player has been hurt in the past, and this year he was not hurt. So I'm gonna say this is Brian Dable talking about bringing back Saquon Barkley.
Coop going with Brian Dable bringing back Saquon Barkley, and that is half correct. The context is correct, but the person who said it is incorrect. Simon, you can steal this point. Who said this?
Just for clarification, what was the context that Coop gave that was correct?
Signing Saquon Barkley.
Oh, it was. I was going to say because his context originally was just coach talking about a running back.
Left the door open to like Tony Pollard hurting his leg, and then I was trying to leave that door open.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I have no idea. I can't even remember who owns the Giants, but I would say the owner of the Giants. So you can determine if you want to give me points for that or not. If that's correct.
You're going with the owner of the Giants, was it John
Mara? The Mara family?
Yeah, the Maras.
That's right.
That is correct.
Oh, wow. It was the owner? I was going to say it was the GM, Joe.
Said that is incorrect.
Damn it. The robot cut in and took your in away.
The robot made it seem correct. I was like, geez, dude, good snipe. Okay, well, then I'll guess the GM, Joe Schoen.
It is the GM, Joe Schoen. Well done.
Yeah.
Nerd.
It's going to give you additional points, bringing it to 5-2.
All right.
Win over Simon here.
Let's go, dude. So we split the games today. You beat me in the vague one, and I eked out a win here in the.
We got one more. If you guys want to go through it, Simon, you went first on in the games. So Coop, this one is yours. If you'd like to.
Yeah, let's do it.
We have already won this game, but this one will be just for pride points. We've got a locker room full of Satan players go along with some literally thousands of our fans that are sick.
Oh, I know this.
What are they talking about?
So I know that I know who said this. I actually saw this quote. This is Jerry Jones. He was talking about how he feels sick. He said all the players feel sick about this loss. So I did actually see this quote.
Coop, that is correct. Well done on both accounts, bringing you 7-2 lead.
Yeah. Very rare that we actually see the quotes. You would think we would see more of these, but you guys do a good job of finding ones that are. I guess usually when we see quotes, we bring them up on BYOB. So yeah, but I did see that.
A lot of the quotes we see would just not be put in this game because we say them out loud.
True. Yeah, but yeah, I did see Jerry Jones saying, and you know what? He's right. Like we forget that we act like it's, so evil and bad for them to lose and they must have done something wrong, but these guys all tried their hardest, man. Winning the Super Bowl is hard, right? Look at the Bills. Josh Allen isn't a bad quarterback. He just lost a important football game. Okay? Everyone settle down. It's only one team gets to win every year. There are 32 teams.
Right.
So relax.
With you.
As coming up, we are going to get into some Moreau You Know, where we teach you a little bit about something we've learned recently. Before we get to that, though, I did want to remind everyone that right now we are sponsored by our friends over at Lucra, and Lucra is redefining friendly competition. You can make bets on there with the games that you're watching, games that you're playing. You got a board game night, throw it up on Lucra. You're watching the NFC and AFC championships together. You got different opinions from your buddies. Throw a couple bucks on Lucra. Download it now using the link right below me on the BSN app or over there on betternetwork.com. And you get free $10 when you use code BSN when you sign up. Get on over there, download Lucra, use code BSN, and get that $10 thrown into your account. Start making some bets with your buddies.
I'll tell you right now, after talking to our movie expert, Joey Wright, I got Banshees of Inisherin up against anybody you want to put up there. Find me on there, Sauce McFloss. If you think Top Gun's going to win, if you think everything everywhere at once is going to win, hit me up on Lucra, send me a bet, and just say, hey, Sauce McFloss, I bet everything everywhere all at once beats Banshees of Inisherin 1-1, right? If neither wins, if Tar wins, then nobody wins the bet. But put it up there and let's do it 1-on-1. So find me, Sauce McFloss. I got Banshees against whatever movie you think is going to beat it. Come get it.
Challenge Sauce. Guys, coming up, like I said, we're going to get into the Moreau You Know. But right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Call, chat, and enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network. Moose and Keith.
Because I never asked you this. When Noah was growing up, when did Noah first where you got a sense that this is what my son wanted to do?
I was really busy during his formative years. I didn't meet Noah till he was about 19.
Nice. So, your wife did a good job.
Yeah, you may want to talk to your wife. I would say about 13, he started showing a legitimate interest. He started getting curious about how I prepared, what it required. And then I saw a little bit of a shift, 14, 15, where he was concentrating on the on-cameras, the interaction between play-by-play and analyst, and started probably taking mental notes at that point of the performance aspect of, okay, you do all this prep, but you got to go out and deliver it. So yeah, probably that 14, 15 range, I thought to myself, this could be something he really wants to do.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
You don't need to be like right 100% of the time.
No, there was a tweet about the refs that had me kind of cracking up the other day because somebody was like, we have the technology to track the ball down to a centimeter and figure out what speed these guys are running on the field. Yet somehow we still mark the ball by
That's my favorite.
a 60-year-old dude eyeballing it, and then we run over with literal chains and measure it. It's like, you think we could probably get that figured out.
The least precise way to measure something, and then immediately following that up with a super precise way of measuring something.
Yeah, it's like we have satellite.
Like if you're a millimeter short of that chain that they bring out there, that they ran out it as best they could in a straight line. But if you first they just go here, and then they grab the chains and they run in the straightest line possible. But then if you are 1 millimeter short with that football, it doesn't count. Sorry, couldn't have been human error. You're just short.
That's exactly. And they bring out the index card or whatever. Meanwhile, they have satellites in space tracking how fast Brandon Ayuk ran on an end around. But we can't.
And I can see that number live while he's doing it. Like I can see every player's speed on the screen live.
I love that. It's and not to mention that dude's trying to make the spot, and the player always tosses the ball right into his face. Right, he's coming over to spot it, and it's every other time the player's just here you go. Here's another thing to juggle.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Is it me, Ray, or is the only publicity that Microsoft Surface has gotten out of their whole thing on the sideline is people throwing them to the ground in anger? Is that just a me thing? Or the only time I hear about this device, Ray, is when somebody is chucking it on the ground, just pissed off at it, which I get it. All of us are in that world. We love to do that. Only in the NFL, Ray, can they get away with it because these are free. There's no cost. It's part of the sponsorship. Here's 5,000 Microsoft tablets to get you through the NFL season, and these players are just slamming them down. It's like they've become Gilbert on the sideline, and they're so frustrated. They're just like the only publicity this company and this product has gotten is negative.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
Hey, oi, hey.
Hey, beans.
Hey, just real quick, Joey Wright came on, talked a little Oscars. Ani Coopy texted me. Joey's got her all fired up about the Oscars. So we just set a date. Ani Coop's going to come over, hopefully this week, maybe next week. And we're going to do dinner and watch Tar, do a little movie night. Joey sold her on
Date night with Ani Coop. I am jealous of her being. If I can get a flight, am I invited?
You can come, or maybe we sync up, right? We just like, I get you on the phone and we say 3, 2, 1, then we hit play. And
we've done that before, me and JL. We did it with Jackass 3.5 or 4.5. Yeah. One of the 0.5s.
Are you in, Jail? Ani Coop's gonna come over. Joey sold her on watching Tar, as he said it was his second favorite movie of the year. She's gonna come over to my place. We're gonna have dinner and then we're gonna watch the movie. We're all gonna sync up our TVs, 3, 2, 1, bingo. And then maybe we'll have Joey pick us a part of the movie where we can pause it in the middle and do a little intermission just in case everybody needs to get popcorn or whatever. What do you think?
Pee.
You down to sync up with us?
I pee a lot.
Maybe tonight we cannot, but within this week potentially. Or maybe instead of the show, let's just do a screening. Let's just do movie screenings instead of the show in the morning.
Sounds good.
Do you think YouTube
get that video rolled up?
Do you think YouTube would care if we showed full feature Oscar nominee films instead of the show?
I think it'd be
we're cool.
That'd be totally fine.
That would be totally fine.
Totally
you can't play Chumbo. You can't play 5 seconds of Chumbawamba Tub Thumper. But if you were to play the full movie, you'd probably get away with it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it'd be so egregious they would go. Surely they have the rights to do that.
They would never do that. Yeah.
John and Pemba says, "LOL, no, you cannot."
Yeah, if Pemba knows specifically because Chumbawamba Tub Thumper playing that just on a Twitter video got our Twitter account suspended for the official Fantasy Alarm Twitter account suspended for 2 full weeks. So yeah, he knows that you cannot do that.
Well, guys, it is time to get into our next segment here that we are calling the Moreau You Know. We're going to impart some things we've learned recently onto you before the end of the show. I've got mine ready, Jail. I think you got yours ready. Coop, you got yours ready as well?
Yeah,
who wants to go first today? I think I went first last time. Jail, I think you went last time. So let's have you go first today.
Teach me something, Jail.
I can go. You guys familiar with the professional baseball Doc Ellis?
Yes.
I've heard the name.
Are you familiar with his truly crazy story about in 1970 when he threw a no-hitter while on acid?
No, I do not know that story.
The amount that you just said is the full extent of what I've heard. I haven't heard any more. Just the idea of it.
That he's ever thrown in his entire career. He's going up against the Padres in San Diego, and he took the mound when he took LSD earlier in the day because he was visiting a friend in LA and happened to forget that he was pitching that day. He thought he was pitching the following day, woke up, took at noon, and then his friend came over and essentially told him, "Hey, you're pitching today." And he's like, "No, I'm pitching tomorrow." Like holds up a paper. He's like, "No, you're pitching today."
Newspaper, dude.
So he hops on a plane, hauls his ass to the stadium, gets there with 9 minutes to spare, and throws a no-hitter.
That's amazing.
Probably the only time in MLB history that no-hitter has been thrown while a player was on acid. But the way that he describes during game, he doesn't remember a lot of it. What he does remember is like not seeing. He couldn't see the catcher. He could see the batter's plate, but like they weren't really the. Like he saw like Richard Nixon. Yeah, and went there, threw a no hitter, and then has like no memory of it. And so people,
you know, that dude did not believe it until the next day. Know what I mean? Like he was having a moment where he was like, "Holy cow, what a trip! I just pitched a no hitter." The next day, he was like, "Holy shit, I actually pitched a no hitter."
You know what's crazy about that is that I did not know that how he ended up on the LSD, but I've heard that, and I've always hear that story in the context of another one, the David Wells one, where apparently David Wells, when he played for the Yankees, he used to go out to Saturday Night Live and then go to the after parties. And one day he went to the after party and stayed out till 5:30 in the morning, and then the next day he hung crazy over from partying all night with, you know, the craziest comics ever. You know, we're talking like, this is like 98, so you know, I bet it was a mess. He came out and threw a no-hitter. He threw a perfect game with, you know, on just completely hungover. So maybe there's something to getting your mind out of that mindset. I don't know.
I love Dustin's comment. Said, "How do you not try it again? You pitch a no-hitter on LSD. Why not try it again?"
He probably did.
I feel like it goes so horribly.
He probably did and got shelled, and he just never told anybody. The second time, he just kept it to himself. They were like,
it did take to come out and tell this story publicly. This wasn't something that was like obvious at the time. From Doc Ellis, he said, "I started having a crazy home umpire. Once I thought I was pitching baseball to Jimmy, who took holding a guitar, singing it over the plate. He diving out of the way of a ball I thought was a line drive. I jumped, but the ball wasn't hit hard and never reached me."
That's hilarious, bro.
You just see this picture like full diving with panic in his eyes that the line drive's coming for him. I feel like we talk about unique experiences, like unique human experiences. Everyone lives their own reality. That is an experience that I think is truly unique to Doc Ellis. I don't think anybody else in all of humanity, past, present, or future, will pitch a perfect game on LSD. And the moment that I keep going back to in the story, Jail, is the moment that he learned that he would be pitching. You know what I mean? Because like, it's too late to go back. The absolute dread that he must have felt whenever he realized, oh no, and there's nothing I can do about it. I have already taken it. It will happen. This is my reality that I now have to live for the next 8 hours, and I'm going to be pitching a game. Like, and then to go out there, just the mood switch. He had to be full on panic as he stepped on the mound. And then by the end of that game, he's striking out Jimi Hendrix. Like, what a wild day that dude had.
With Richard Nixon calling the game.
Richard Nixon's like, gives him the signal underneath the mound. He's like, "Okay, Dick, we got this." Jimmy doesn't stand a chance. Well,
I could see you have some confidence throwing a Jimi Hendrix. I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna strike this guy out for sure. He doesn't know.
He's never played baseball in his life.
Yeah. And in Pemba, John and Pemba in the chat added in that David Wells claims he was actually still drunk, not just hungover, but still drunk. So maybe there's something to it. Get your mind out of that mindset to something else. But acid, that's a little over the top.
I believe the dude was still drunk. Jalen and I had someone come and educate us about alcohol safety in college, and they took a survey beforehand.
He did?
Yeah, maybe you were asleep, but you were definitely there. They came in and took a survey from everybody at the meeting, asking like on a typical party night, like how much do you drink? When do you start drinking? When do you stop drinking? And then they told us on the next slide, after taking all the results, they said the average person in this room is still drunk, unable to drive a car legally until 6 p.m. the following day after one of your parties, is what they told us. Based on the drinking habits that you've put into this survey, none of you should operate a car until 6 p.m. the following day.
Damn.
I think people get a little, they think, oh, I went to sleep. I'm fine. Depends how much you drank before you went to sleep.
That's true.
According to those people, what
do they know? That's what they do for a living. Jail, that was, I saw there's little like movies about it. There's like short documentaries. I'm going to watch those after the show today.
Wow.
I got one for you guys today. It's not sports related, but I remembered it happening this week. I feel like something triggered it. And then I remembered this viral video from a long time ago that I'm not sure if you guys remember. It happened in the late 90s. And today I'm going to tell you about the story of an Australian man named Bill Morgan. Do you guys know about Bill Morgan?
No.
Bill Morgan, where we're going to start is that he was clinically dead for 14 days. He got hit by a truck. A truck driver hit him, and he was 12 days in a coma, was considered clinically dead for 14 days. And then he woke up completely fine. And shortly after waking up, he went to a local gas station after coming out of the coma, and he bought a scratch-off lottery ticket. And he won a brand new car on the scratch-off lottery ticket, the equivalent of 18,000 US dollars or 17,000 Australian dollars back in 99. So he wins a car. And because this was a man who was clinically dead for 14 days and then won a car on a scratch-off ticket, the local news was like, let's do a story on this guy, right? Like the prize wasn't big enough that they would normally do a story on it. But this is a man who came back from the dead and then won a car in the lottery. So they get him, and for the news bit, they want to recreate the scene where he won the car on the scratch-off ticket. So they get the news crew out there, they're filming it, and he goes into the gas station. He's like, yeah, I came out of my coma, I came to this gas station, I walked in, I bought a scratch-off ticket. So he buys another one of the same scratch-off tickets from the same gas station. He goes, I came out here, I sat down at this table, and I started scratching. He's narrating, he scratches the ticket. Then he looks up at the camera and he goes, I just won $250,000. So on the news, while they're recreating him winning a car after he came back from the dead, he scratches a ticket just to recreate it for a news bit and wins again. So this is the man, Bill Morgan, in 1999, hit by a truck, clinically dead for 14 days, comes back to life and wins the lottery twice. One of them on the news while recreating the first one.
Makes sense. You got to live twice. Gets to win the lottery twice, dude. What in the heck, dude?
There's a video of it. You can watch the news bit because they just like aired the news bit. It's out there, but it's a couple minutes long. But you should look up the Bill Morgan news story where they're just having him recreate it because it's genuinely, you can tell like it's not staged. He just went in and bought a ticket and was doing it for the bit, and then he won another $250K.
What kind of car? Another two. It's like what kind of car was it? Because I mean, there's no unless it was like a Lamborghini. There's no way the car was worth $250,000.
No, the car was worth 18,000 US dollars at the time.
It's a pretty nice car.
So forget that. Yeah, pretty decent, but forget that. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? 250,000. This guy's the man.
Just insane, right? To be clinically dead, and then you're recreating the story for the local news, and you just win again on the spot.
That's wild, bro. Just not being dead.
Dude, I need to be that lucky.
How can you be dead for that long and still be able to just like chill and go on the news?
Right? It was pretty shortly after.
Just like feel like once you're dead for any amount of time, it's difficult to kind of get up and walk around.
Clinically dead. What does that mean exactly? Like he was just in a coma?
I think there's a stage past coma because they separate talking about him being in a coma with him being clinically dead. So I'm not entirely sure, but I can do some more research on this. I just know
it wasn't like he was sitting there.
No, they didn't like put him in a morgue. I think it was like brain activity had stopped or something like that. Know what I mean?
Goodness.
And then it just started back up again.
They got him going. And then he went on Channel 9. Channel 9 decided to do a feature on the man who was, and I quote, clinically dead and came back to win the lottery. So they were doing a story on the dead guy who won the lottery, and he won the lottery again. His direct quote was, I just won 200. He got quiet, stopped scratching, looked up at the camera and said, I just won $250,000. I'm not joking. And then they have the bit changed after that.
Wild.
Absolutely wild. Unbelievably lucky, man. That's my Moreau, you know. Look up Bill Morgan. Watch the video after this. Coop, you got one for us?
Yeah, I got one for you guys. And mine is not sports related either. Last week I did sports. I'm trying to rotate a little bit. We do one sports, one not sports. This one's not sports. This one is related to video games, right? And I recently learned this. So I'm going to give you two quick video game stories. I recently learned one of them, and it reminded me of another one. So the one I recently learned is that, are you guys familiar with a video game called the Oregon Trail?
Yes.
Yes.
Classic game where you're trying to take a covered wagon across America. And there's two ways to play it. One, the way that I would always play, which is you basically ford every river, and every time you're hunting, you kill as much as possible, and you usually don't survive. And then there's the other version of it where you actually do, play it normally and you don't overhunt the area until there's nothing left. That game was originally developed by 3 college kids as like a way to teach history. They were like, it was like an assignment to teach history, creatively. They coded it in just 10 days. This is 1974. And then they just gave it away to an educational nonprofit and just said, you can have this, turn this into an educational game. They never made a single dime off
It's
the
one of the
Oregon
most
Trail.
One of the most popular games of all time.
One of the most popular games of all time. Never made a dime off that game, which reminded me of another story that I had heard. An even bigger one, an even bigger game than Oregon Trail, if you can believe it.
The Alaska Trail?
It's the Alaska Trail. No. It's not sure if you guys have heard of this game. It's a little game called Tetris.
I heard of Tetris. I played a game of Tetris or two in my day.
I've heard of Tetris. A pretty big game. Do you guys know who invented Tetris?
Dr. Tetris. No, sorry. It was Dr. Mario himself.
It was Dr. Phil Mario Tetris. Wow, you guys did know that. That's crazy. No, actually, it was a guy named Alexei Pajitnov.
That was my next guess.
Yes, it was Dr. Mario Lamas Thomas, Texas. His name is
Alexei Pajitnov.
Alexei Pajitnov. He invented the game Tetris, right? But here's the rub: is that you can probably realize from his name, Alexei Pajitnov, that he was a Russian gentleman. And at the time that he invented it in 1984, so Tetris was invented like a decade after Oregon Trail, which is kind of wild. But so he invented that in 1984, but he lived in Soviet Russia. So because of the way communism worked at the time, he actually could not collect any royalties on the game. He basically was just paid his normal, communist wage or whatever. All the royalties from the game Tetris, arguably the most popular video game of all time, went directly to the Soviet Union. And he didn't find a way to make money off the game he invented until he bailed on the Soviet Union in 1996, came to America, the United States specifically, not North America, Canada, Mexico, United States specifically, USA, and founded his own company, the Tetris Company, in 1996, at which point he was able to successfully start claiming some royalties and make some money off the amazing game he invented. But for 12 years, he sat there and basically came up with one of the most widely known games of all time and made zero off it.
That's wild. Well, guys, today you learned a little bit about the royalties behind Tetris and the Oregon Trail. You learned about Doc Ellis pitching a perfect game, a no-hitter, on LSD. And you learned about Bill Morgan winning the lottery twice after being clinically dead. That is going to be it for us on the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show this morning. We will be back tomorrow morning, though, from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and every day, Monday through Friday, from 7 to 10. So come hang out with us. Right after this, though, we've got Moose and Keith, followed by Lunch Money, presented by Fantasy Guru. Then Corey, Nando, and friends right after that to answer all of your toughest fantasy questions. Until tomorrow morning, though, adios, everyone. We will talk to you on another time.